They have to, they've got to seize the opportunity and make the most of when they get on the field and make the best of it.
Indeed. Now, Coach, what are the keys to the game, both offensively and defensively? What can we look forward to from your boys here tonight?
Well, it starts defensively with TC and the triple option. We have to be disciplined. You have to play assignment football,
right?
And you have to. If you have dive, you have to tackle dive. You have quarterback, you have to tackle quarterback.
Right.
But you have to do it over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been the challenge this week is just eye discipline, and being disciplined and stopping them. And then for us offensively, we've got to limit turnovers. We had 5 last week against Reynolds, and you're not going to beat good football teams with 5 turnovers. So we have to take care of the ball, and we have to sustain some drives, keep that high-powered offense off the field.
Indeed.
And when we get down inside the red zone, we have to make it count.
Indeed, Coach. Now, final thoughts on the game here tonight. What are you expecting here? What's going to be the end result?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. I really do. In the past, through the years, it's always been a close game.
Right.
No matter the records, you can throw them out. And I expect the same. I know our kids are going to fight, even with some kids in new spots, and it'll be a battle, and we know that. So, but we should be up for the challenge.
All right. Well, Coach, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with us here today.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck to your boys here tonight.
Appreciate it.
We'll be back in just a moment, folks.
Bojangles is a proud sponsor of WLOS WMYA. Friday Night Rivals football. It's not just football season, it's tailgate season. Make sure you download the Bojangles app, order ahead, and then head to Bojangles. Pick up your tailgate Big Bow box today. Tailgate like a legend. It's bow time.
Later in a regional Principal of the Year competition and a state Principal of the Year competition, to be selected by your colleagues for their admiration of your hard work, your dedication, your loyalty, the clear way you give your all to your students and staff is an incredible honor. When we arrived at Erwin High School to make the surprise announcement, for me, one of the most memorable moments was seeing the students cheering when they saw their principal receiving the recognition, and even more so, hearing from the staff how proud they were, how grateful they are for their principal. Certainly, I want to say thank you to our staff of Erwin High School. At this time, it's my honor to introduce, for a special recognition, the Student Government Association President of Charles Erwin High School. Clyde Erwin High School, please forgive me, I will apologize one by one to every single alumni. I apologize for that. Our STA President, MJ Brown.
Thank you. Mr. Cody, the student government, Erwin staff administrator, and have gathered here tonight to recognize you and your dedication to our school. Not only is our school a place for students to be taught, but it is a place of overwhelming support and pride. You have helped us to create a welcoming and diverse environment that not only pushes students to grow, but to also persevere. We are appreciated and respected for your hard work and commitment to our school's community. The student body would like to thank you personally for your constant support and understanding of our individual situations. You have pushed us to reach our goals and do better for ourselves, even in difficult times. You are constantly thinking of ways to improve our Warriors, all while maintaining tradition and meaning. Thank you more than you.
Now it's time to visit with the head man at TCR on the Carolina Furniture Concepts Coach's Corner. Coach, 27 years into this thing for you from a coaching standpoint, 3 decades, yet I'm sure you still have it pumping through the veins on nights like this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anytime you get to play the game of football, it's the greatest game ever invented. It's a thrill. So, it's really puts the final pieces on a week of preparation, and I like to go watch our kids play. I tell them all the time, Friday's your show. I'm just out there. I'm going to try to guide you a little bit, but you're the ones out there doing the work. So it's always exciting for me.
Your young men have embraced this challenge this year. Been an outstanding season. Tonight that you have to remain focused, though. Potential big one next week. What would you say about this week of practice and where the mindset of your squad is?
Well, our mindset all year's been, don't look ahead. We're big about just keeping the focus on ourselves. We're going to game plan. We're going to prepare for our opponent, but we're not going to get caught up in names and records and things like that. We feel like if we are our best version of ourselves, we have a chance to compete and win every Friday.
And yourself, the team you look at in the mirror, that's a standard for your squad.
Absolutely. We have a high standard. Our kids are prepared. Been through a grueling process of preparation in the off season, in the weight room, and they've earned the right to be in the talk. But they also know they got to go out and prove it. They can't just show up and it's going to happen for them. They know they got to cross the T's and dot the I's every Friday.
Your team provides a bit of a different wrinkle using the option. There's so much you have to honor. It requires a disciplined defensive approach. You mentioned this week that comes from some of the difficulty you always had trying to stop this type of offense.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's hard to prepare for any team, really, when it's not your system. So I felt like we were going to come through with one of the harder offenses to prepare for, and I just leaned on my years of experience as a defensive coordinator and decided that this offense is hard to prepare for and play against, and that's what we've gone with, and we love it. Our kids have embraced it, and it's been good for us.
One chance clip for a number of folks across the region to see your team maybe one time tonight. What do you hope they walk away knowing about the Rams?
That we're physical, we're disciplined, we're athletic, we're fast, that we play the game the way it should be, and we represent our community with class and character.
No doubt about it. Coach, we always appreciate you. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
We wish you all the best out there tonight. Kickoff coming up between the Rams and Warriors on Friday Night Rivals.
Carrying the state colors is Cadet Captain Anastasia Chambers.
Now, My 40 Sports presents Bojangles Friday Night Rivals. The Roberson Rams versus the Erwin Warriors.
Closing in on kickoff between the Warriors and the Rams. With that, we welcome you to Bojangles Friday Night Rivals. Alongside my broadcast partner, Tim Amos, Jason Patterson here. Beautiful night at Clyde Irwin High School in Western North Carolina, and one that is a chance to make some conference impact for these two teams. Tim, let's talk about our two that are getting set to do battle here, go head-to-head. Beginning with TCR, this is a team that has really been rolling this season.
They have been rolling. They're 6-1 overall. They run the ball, and they will run it down your throat if you don't come up and stop them.
It is a young Irwin squad, but boy, tonight is the kind of night that you can make a statement and take the next step.
They're in front of the home crowd. They've gotten some experience under their belt throughout the season. Perhaps TC could be ripe for an upset tonight.
All right, give us the one matchup you're watching. As we talked about earlier, what's it come down to?
I think it comes down to TC Roberson has to maintain their composure and their focus and play their game. I think Erwin has to stop them.
It is Erwin Roberson getting ready to do battle on Bojangles Friday Night Rivals. Football is just around the corner from Western North Carolina. Captains meeting at midfield, which means we are closing in on the start of tonight's battle between the Erwin Warriors and the Roberson Rams. Roberson team coming in, trying to put themselves in position to play for, control their own destiny in playing for the conference next week. And Erwin just looking to grow up from one week to the next right now. Let's dive into our Spartanburg Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram keys to the game. How about we start with a Ram? Walk us through the keys for Roberson.
Yes, for the Rams, they need to finish their drives, and they need to focus on tonight. We talked about the big game for the conference championship next week, and that's what they've got to do. For the Erwin Warriors, they've got to have the double E, energy and execution.
And those words are right out of the mouth of Coach Rodney Pruitt, Tim. He talked about how important it is. He said, I've seen my kids battle all year. He said, but it's a matter of executing tonight because he knows the times they touch the football may be few and far between.
That's right. Roberson likes to control the ball, control the clock with their running game, and Erwin has to take advantage of every opportunity.
If you haven't seen them yet this year, if you haven't seen them in recent years, traditional football for Roberson, they run the triple option, so they force you to honor. You have to honor the dive, you have to honor the pitch, you have to honor the quarterback, and it takes a disciplined approach to be effective against this offense tonight.
It sure does. You've got to stay at home for one thing and keep your eye on the ball. Don't be faked out, misled, or anything like that, and play some hard-nosed, tough football in the trenches.
You know that's what you're going to get from the Rams. Here's a look at the home team. Erwin getting ready to take the field. Boy, two coaches that have been doing this a long, long time. Both of them, you're not talking about years, you're talking about decades, so that sometimes can also be a factor on a night like this.
Yes, it can. And there's so many things that come into this game, and that's why Friday night football is so much fun in high school and here in the Mountain Athletic Conference.
And that's why we're glad to have you with us on Bojangles Friday Night Rivals. As the Rams have taken the field, we are waiting on the Erwin Warriors in front of the home faithful to do the same. It is homecoming tonight, so there's a little bit of extra energy involved, a lot of festivities surrounding this contest, and you know, not only a chance to knock off a conference rival, but also a chance to do it in front of a nice crowd. Here come the Erwin Warriors to that end, as they will work their way near side to the delight of the home fans. And with that, we are just about ready. You know, you've been a part of a lot of these over the years in this part of the country, in this part of the state. Always those moments, just those few jitters right before you get rolling.
Yeah, there are. And of course, I haven't called a game in a long time, Jason. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And let me say, we miss Tom so much.
Absolutely.
We wish him well. He's not feeling well tonight, and hopefully he'll be back soon. But thank you for this opportunity for me to be here and be in one of those magical moments again.
Usually we give you the Tom Van Hoy is on assignment word, but Tom Van Hoy in this case a little under the weather, and we certainly hope he's feeling better very soon. And we appreciate you, my friend, stepping in. You've done everything else on these shows over the years. Why not also occupy the booth and take on a headset, something you did for many years in your capacities at Asheville and beyond. There's a look. You talk about Asheville in different capacities and different roles. How about that guy filling up the screen right now?
My old friend Danny Wilkins, winningest coach in Asheville history, and he's retired, helping out with radio now. He just can't stay off the sidelines.
Got a microphone in his hand tonight.
He does.
So we're getting to hear from a number of the classics. You see the different players warming up for the Warriors and getting ready to receive it. There was Sharp, one of the captains for Roberson on the other side, set to kick it away. It will be Erwin football first. You know, both these teams, very talented kickers that they will rely upon. In this case, it'll be Robertson's getting the first look at it, and it'll be Ukraine who's done a very nice job in that responsibility. And both these coaches talk about how well they take care of business, these kicking units, and we'll see how much of a factor that is tonight. But foot into leather, we're underway, and the return is just up across the 25, and that is where this young Warriors squad will start over. Look no further than the quarterback for a discussion of exactly how young. Caden Engel is in his 9th grade year. He is 14 years old, and he is a young 14 years old, this quarterback for Erwin. August birthday, so when they were going through the practices, he was still 13 beside the name. But he's grown up 1 week to the next across the course of this year, and a player that many believe is going to be one of the better quarterbacks in this region once he comes of age and grows into his own, Tim.
And he definitely has skills, but he's also got size, 6'1", 202, and just a strong young man, well-built, and I look for great things for him, and he's left-handed too.
Yeah, another of the southpaws. Seen a lot of that around Western North Carolina this year for sure. And they've done a nice job. And there is Caden Engel. Sponsors love the name as well, right? As it works its way out onto the turf this occasion. This is going to be tossed far side, going to be caught. They set up a screen, and up near the 40-yard line, where finally wrestled out of bounds is his initial target as he connects with Tristan Ward. Ward, one of the seniors on this squad. There are a handful of seniors they really look to leadership if you're Erwin.
Yes, they do, and Ward had some good hands. He made a nice move after he caught the ball, and there's our Erwin starting offense. Of course, Caleb Ingle we talked about. Lawson Reynolds, 36 receptions, 2 touchdowns. Michael Petty, he's somebody to look at. Nathaniel Brown, he's a 3-year starter.
Number of key players and a number of big-time moments on this play. As you're walking through that started with the flag as things were getting underway, but the ball ends up pinballing all over the place on this Hendersonville Family Dental first down. This is going to be something for our officiating crew to sort out as you get a look at a few more of the starters here, as Roberson's defense is on the screen for you now. Boy, this was a wild first play that it's going to be interesting to see. Ball popped out at the end of everything, flag taking place at the front of it, and once all is said and done, the officials have their hands full. It is going to be a first down for the Warriors, so they pick up the flag. And it'll be Erwin football at the 40. So, wow, what a wild second play from scrimmage. First series getting underway for this Erwin squad, and kept in the heart of things for Roberson's defense. They're able to stay the push this time. You were looking at the Roberson defense on the screen a moment ago. Who do you highlight on that side of the ball, Tim?
Well, Caleb Bohannon had led the conference in tackles last year. He's number 12. Cardi A. Boyd, a junior, currently the leading tackler in the conference, tackles for loss with 11.
Couple to keep an eye on in this Roberson defense. It's another part of the discipline squad that's been effective this year. But how important would a effective first drive be for this Erwin squad? And to that end, Milky Ray is going to carry it across the 30, and that's another Hendersonville Family Dental first down. Here's a look at how they picked it up.
Nice cut, big hole up the middle, just picking up the first down, and a confidence builder for Erwin if they could score on this drive.
Milky Ray, one of the juniors on the roster. And he's going to come calling to the near side. This is going to be kept on the ground and right between the hashes, still struggling for every inch of real estate. Fighting to get there is one of the captains, Nicholas Sharp. He's 5'10", 171, another of those seniors. Both a running back and an outside linebacker. You're going to notice it tonight. Ironman football yet again. Yes, there are about 38 kids on the roster for the Warriors, but they're going to play about 18 or 20 of them when all is said and done. So depth is a bit of a challenge, even though the numbers are there with some of the injuries they battled through. He said, we've got a lot of first-teamers, did Coach Pruitt. We got a lot of third and fourth teamers who are growing into their own because they're so young. He said, so the crop we're pulling from a depth standpoint is very limited. So watch for those numbers to go both ways throughout the night.
And a lot of these guys were on the JV team last year. Of course, the quarterback is a freshman. He wasn't on the JV team, and they're just building for the future.
No moment like this one to make your mark, and here's a third down to that end for Erwin. Going to keep it on the ground one more time, and that's right into the heart, right into the teeth of that Roberson defense. Maybe a yard, and a fourth down is coming, so the earliest of the decisions right now going to be made by that Warriors coaching staff.
Looks like they're keeping the offense on the field. Not sure what kind of field goal skills they have, but they're going for it.
Well, the only points against Reynolds in their most recent contest coming on a 35-yard field goal. So the range is there should they need it to try one in this general area. But a flag will back it up a little further on this offense as a false start before the fourth down snap can take place. Will make it a little tougher on the Warriors here. So all that to say, with the 35-yarder the only scoring, the range is at least going to make you think about it when you're down at the 20 and on inside there for sure. And both these teams with plenty of confidence in their kickers. But the importance of this drive, forcing the Warriors to leave the offense on the field as rain begins to fall here. It stayed clear throughout the pregame, but just as we get underway on this Friday, and you look at the calendar for yourself and you think about where we are and what can often happen, it begins to rain fairly heavily as they get rolling, and the southpaw fires away. This is in and out of the hands of his intended target, incomplete, and that'll be a Roberson stand to begin things as the drive will come to a halt just inside the 30-yard line. We'll break away as the rain begins to fall here at Erwin. You'll get a look at the Rams when you return on the other side of the break. Well, one play having been run while you were away. Both these teams so eager to get things going tonight. Roberson lined up, picked up a first down with a 10-yard plus carry on the opening sequence. And now everything coming to a halt here after the first down play. It will be 1st and 10, but to those of you that are following very closely and watching astutely will notice the ball's going to be at the 38-yard line instead of inside the 30-yard line as they go back to work here, Tim. And if that first play was any indication, Roberson came with a head of steam off the buses tonight.
Very powerful running game, as we've talked about. Just an awesome play, and let's hope Erwin can hold on and put some muscle up there against us.
Yeah, just to make sure things stay tight. They're going to need that in order to hang in with one of the more dominant teams in Western North Carolina this year on the other side of the ball. Think about this. Those who looked at the weather forecast really grateful for their preparation as the umbrellas are popping up all over the stadium. It was beautiful weather throughout the pregame. No real signs that we're going to experience the type of rainfall and wind that is coming down now. It has arrived quickly, and it's certainly a factor on tonight's game. As Lex Dinwiddie, the senior QB, son of the head coach of the Rams, leads this group to the charge. Here's their second first down of the game, and it'll be good for about 5. And, you know, this is a team, they are content with that triple option approach, Tim, to pick up 3 yards here, 3 yards there, in this case 5 or 6 on first down, and they will death by 1,000 pricks march it down the field on you until eventually popping the big play somewhere along the way tonight.
Well, they took over with 7:54 left in the first quarter, so let's see how much of the clock they're going to eat and if they can be successful on this drive.
It's an offensive line, doesn't get maybe the credit the skill players receive. We were told by Coach J.D. Dinwiddie, but he said they've really been the heart and soul of what is a 6-1 start to the year for this TCR squad. That'll be pitched near side. Chance for a tackle, but eluding the first defender and getting up near the marker, maybe about a yard shy of the marker when all is said and done, is Krettel, who will have his name called for the first time, and he's very close to first down yardage after that carry. Take another look at his run. Certainly passes the eye test at first glance, does he not?
He sure does, and he's able to break some tackles too.
Third down coming after the keeper by Dinwiddie and then Krettel getting involved. It'll be interesting to see what Roberson dials up here as we close in on the 6:22 mark of the quarter. It's going to be enough to move the chains. That is good for the first down, just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. And it is going to be a Hendersonville Family Dental movement of the chains, second such on the night. And here is a look at the staff of Coach Pruitt and company, and well, he talked about the effort it's going to take. You mentioned it a moment ago from his young men. He said, the one thing I've seen from my team all year is their ability to battle, and tonight's a night they're really going to have to.
This is a test, certainly, for this team, and it may prepare them should they be eligible for postseason.
Something that has been a rite of passage in recent years around here, Tim, for the most part, as his defense does swarm here and make the stop very well. For the most part, they've been able to work their way into the playoffs for the recent editions of the postseason.
According to information I gathered, they have not missed the playoffs in over a decade, so quite a tradition.
Well, when you think about the way things have gone of late, this is a team with well over 100 wins against just over 60 losses since 2008, but obviously on the other side, and you're seeing the opposite head coach right here, Coach Dinwiddie. He certainly has his crew rolling this particular year, going to make it tough on the Erwin squad for sure. It's going to be a little run out far side, going to be Dinwiddie down the far side. He's inside the 25 to the 20, and before he is finally rolled over with a Hendersonville Family Dental first down and a First Bank red zone opportunity, a flag will also come down, and you can just see on this one play how difficult it's going to be to contain the quarterback tonight.
Dinwiddie has a lot of skills. He can throw the ball, he can run the ball, and that was a good fake.
This one may very well be coming back. It is going to be holding against TCR, so this particular run going to be negated, but keep that tucked away in the back of your mind, because that's a play you're going to see regularly, one would think, throughout the night tonight.
Just a little bit of bootleg all by himself, and good yardage that time.
So many weapons in this stable. That's the one thing you notice as you begin to watch this TCR team go to work. So many weapons along the way. Right at 5 minutes remaining in the opening period of action, and a first down from after the penalty, just inside the 35, and they will work this across the left hash, and Jeter all the way down to the 27-yard line. Reno Jeter, another of the talented performers. We're going to keep introducing you to key playmakers tonight, and that's because Roberson has a stable full of them, Tim.
Reno Jeter, a senior. He plays running back and linebacker. And a good athlete.
Yeah, another of those Iron Man football. We talked about it on the Erwin side of things. You'll see a great deal of that from Roberson, particularly in key moments as well. Well, in between plays, and this is what will happen with this rushing offense, going down to 4-10 before this snap. And that's one of the things that you watch when you're playing a triple option squad, is it not? How many times are we going to touch the football on this night? If you're the opposing team, in this case, Erwin, you wonder the possessions. You have to make each one of them count, because you wonder how many of them there will actually be. This is Roberson's first drive of the game, and already we find ourselves closing in on 3 minutes 45 seconds remaining in the opening period.
And that was the 7th play of the drive.
And it continues. 3 yards here, 5 yards there, a couple more, add it all up. It's 3rd down and 1 from just outside the red zone, and flags fly before this 3rd and 1 play. This is going to be a false start against TCR. So now a 3rd down opportunity after the penalty coming for Erwin to try and force a decision, put the shoe on the other foot. Remember, on the opening drive of the game, and for those of you who were not with us, Erwin drove all the way down to about this spot on the other side of the field. And that's where things stalled thanks to the TCR defense. Now the Warriors trying to return the favor.
So this would be a big win for Erwin right here.
Yes, it would. Fans umbrella in one hand, to their feet, trying to get in behind this team with the other. It's going to be kept enough of a gap to pick up the first down, and still in play all the way down to the 11-yard line before finally being rushed out of bounds, and that's where it will be. Into, and this time it looks like it'll stick, the red zone, as well as another Hendersonville Family Dental first down, and that is our initial First Bank red zone opportunity. First Bank, 21 locations in Western North Carolina and the Upstate to serve you, 16 of those right here in Western North Carolina. That is First Bank, proud sponsors of the red zone throughout the night tonight. With heavy rain falling and 3 and change on the first quarter clock, entire defensive line moving for Erwin. Let's see if anything precipitated that, or if it's a straight offsides. It appears the call will be offsides, and that will move TC Roberson just a little closer.
Either the count or the motion by the running back drew them off sides.
didn't talk a lot about it because we were mentioning they've worked into the red zone and all that, but P.J. Deschantiers right there, also a part of this offensive attack for Roberson on this drive. They've used most of the weapons on this occasion. Stacked up on the first down play from the 11. Ball carrier is turned aside, among others in there helping make the stop. One of the captains, that was Jake Maccabee in there, 6'2", 234. The senior defensive lineman among those helping plug the hole for the Warriors. Coming on as a part of this personnel grouping, Isaac Marler, another of those seniors who plays on the line both ways for the Warriors. 2.5 to play. Opening period. Stacked up initially, able to get out of it and all the way down near the goal line. Now remember, there was a first down in play at the 1, and this is very close to that spot. We'll see if it is in fact enough to make it a 1st and goal, or if the chains are going to be needed to determine where the 3rd down is required. Timeout's going to be signaled for, and it looks as if this will require a measurement, and that's what's going to happen. Timeout now officially being called for the measurement. You see Coach Dinwiddie, many talk about this year being the year that the decision he has made to go to the triple option has really paid dividends. The year that he's got as good a squad as he has had. One of the reasons for it, guy that sits at his own kitchen table, right?
That guy right there, he's quite a player.
Father-son combination. We asked Coach before the game, able to keep all the roles separated. He said he's done a nice job. Hopefully we've done a nice job. He said he feels like he's been able to balance that very well, having had the experience of the father-son environment in his arsenal. As they stretch out the chains, just a little bit shy of the 1st down.
I think you could put a credit card in there.
You are correct, my friend. It's going to be 2:12 to play in the 1st period, and inches needed for Roberson to set up a 1st and goal. Of course, a little more than that, and his team would be in the end zone and posting the first points of the night on the board. But they talk about this offense, and we mentioned it, the triple option approach and what it's meant for Roberson. And you got to love what Coach told us, Tim. He said, I went to this offense because as a defensive coordinator over the years, I had a harder time stopping this than anything else. And he said, if it gave me problems, I knew it was going to give everybody else problems. And now that I have the personnel to run it and run it effectively, it has been just that. Very effective, and it has given teams all across North Carolina problems.
That's really smart. It's hard to prepare for when you only do it one time during the season.
That's what Coach Pruitt told us on the other side, right? This is the only time we'll see this offense this year. And very hard, as we'll talk about before the night is done, to replicate. Well, here it is. The 3rd down play, and looked like he put his knee down there before eventually working his way into the end zone. Now one official is raising his hands as if it was a score, but it looked as if his knee went straight down on the ground like he was going for the 1st down, the movement of the chains, the 4 fresh. I don't know, or did he just slip? We'll get another look at it, but it was seemingly clear that his knee went immediately down to the turf. Now that would set up a 1st and goal because it would be enough for a movement of the chains. Would love to see that one again if we get the chance to.
And it is 1st and goal.
It is 1st and goal, so he went directly forward with maybe the 1st down in mind. Knee went down, and though the entire pile went into the end zone, he was marked down. Here's the 1st and goal scenario. Turns, gives off right side. It's of little consequence as into the end zone immediately is Tyron Credle, and he'll have the first points of the night. It is 6-0 Roberson with 1:46 to go in the opening period. There is our initial United Federal Credit Union touchdown of the night. So
78 yards on 12 plays.
A trademark drive for Roberson, as after turning Erwin aside on the turnover on downs at around the 30-yard line on the other end, you said it, they make their way down the field, and this is what caps it. Touchdown for the visitors, and TCR owns the early, or should we say late, 1st quarter lead. With 1:46 to play in the opening period after a 12-play, 78-yard drive that ate up over 6 minutes of game clock. 6 minutes, 8 seconds. TCR leading it, capping it off with the cradle run, and they have a 7-0 advantage on the scoreboard due to the visitors from Roberson. Boy, what a drive, Tim, for TCR. Now, here's the play in which you saw his knee go down right away, which earned the first down, which was the important thing at the moment. And then a play later on 1st and goal, the touchdown secured on the give.
It almost looked like victory formation for me.
Yep, certainly did.
Took a knee almost immediately after he got the snap, but I'm not sure that was intentional.
Yeah, well, if it was, he picked up the first down either way, but you said it ended up on the ground. We do have a slippery field tonight, even though it's a very nice surface here, so a lot to factor in, but it was an unusual play. It did earn them the first down, and then ultimately TCR getting the touchdown, as we told you, on the 78-yard drive. Well, here is that Erwin team. They're going to get the ball back with 1:39 to play in the opening period, having touched it just once. Now, they drove from where they are now to almost an identical spot on the other side of the field where things stalled out. Let's see what this young Warriors squad can do now down a touchdown. Well, officials going to be busy tonight keeping that ball covered up, keeping everything dry as rain continues to fall here in western North Carolina.
I'm so thankful for the rain. We're on water restrictions in my county down in Henderson County, voluntary water restrictions, and we definitely need the rain.
Yeah, so many here glad to see it, that's for sure. Bigger than what's happening between the white lines is the fact that that rain, much needed rain, is falling in this area. 7-0 Rams, and inside a minute and a half remaining in the opening period. If you missed it when we introduced you to him earlier, the young QB, as Tim told you, plenty of size despite his youth, the 9th grade quarterback who is in his 14th year on the planet. Takes a look at this, and the left-hander slings this out near side. Great screen set up. Has a man, is able to connect with Michael Petty. And Petty is up across the 45-yard line. Well, one thing you can say for Erwin at this point, and this play another reminder of it, the toss to Petty, they have not had trouble moving the football. That continues as they begin to get this second drive underway.
I think Erwin feels like they really need to do something with this drive. They went so far on the other drive and just couldn't finish it off.
That's a Hendersonville Family Dental first down. That was really one of the keys tonight. Could they execute in those key moments? Deep shot, and trying to make the adjustment but unable to reel it in is Michael Petty. They go back the 11th grader's direction, but it is incomplete. Pretty solid coverage there just to stay underneath and disrupt any path to the football, and that was Kanari Finley who provided the defensive look for Roberson.
Could have been a completion on that play, definitely.
Second down instead, needing the other 44. And there is nowhere to go this time. Ball carrier met immediately and wrestled down. And well, another reminder of how many you'll see go both ways. Guess who was in the middle of that? Reno Jeter. Deshaun Tears also in the middle of the things there, trying to make the stop for Roberson. So some of the key performers for this Rams squad, they're on what may very well be the final play of the first quarter. Clock is at 11 seconds and ticking downward ahead of the third down play. And it may very well give Erwin a chance to talk over their options from third and behind the sticks. And that seems as if it will be the case. Clock at 2-1, and it is the end of the period. A first quarter marked by a 12-play, 78-yard drive that ate up 6 minutes of this first quarter, all translating into a 7-0 Rams lead. Bojangles is a proud sponsor of WLOS WMYA. Friday Night Rivals football. It's not just football season, it's tailgate season. Make sure you download the Bojangles app, order ahead, and then head to Bojangles. Pick up your tailgate Big Bo box today. Tailgate like a legend. It's Bo time. Warriors will begin the second quarter looking to react to the TC Roberson Rams scoring drive, which was responsible for the majority of the first period. And the quarter begins, the second quarter that is, with a 3rd down and long. They'll need the 44-yard line of the Rams to move the chains, will Engel and company. Young QB. Notice tonight also, haven't talked about it yet, but as we work into the second quarter here, a lot of those pink towels out there. It's Cancer Awareness Month, of course, being acknowledged by so many of these players. Here's a deep look, but that's going to be a little too much juice on this pass. Incomplete. He's trying to work it near side in the direction of Tristan Ward, another of those Warriors captains, but an incompletion means 4th down, and Erwin sending the kicking unit onto the field. So Roberson, think on this, just about to touch the football for only the 2nd time as we are into the second quarter of action. His team not minding that scenario, though, as they find themselves ahead on the scoreboard, 7-0. Again, they talk about this being Coach Dinwiddie crowning team, perhaps. J.D. Dinwiddie and crew very pleased with the way things have rolled. Well, thinking about it, continuing to work on down the line was the kicker, but it ends up being kicked away in the end. Goes out of bounds just inside the 20. So that's where Roberson will take over. Tim's going to be required to make another long march if they're going to be effective on this second drive the way they were in the first.
And a nice punt, 40-yard punt. Puts them deep in their own territory, and they're going to have to put together another good drive. Started at the 22 on their last drive.
Roberson calling for the rest of the personnel. He's one of those many talented backs in the Roberson stable. A little late to the party, but everybody involved now. And with things in order, Dinwiddie takes a snap. On turn. Give this to Creedle again, and he is loose into Erwin territory. The touchdown earlier, and now he's got his team in business again, this time at the 44 of the Warriors, and there's the big play. We talk about a chunk of 3, a chunk of 5, a chunk of 6, and then every now and again they break it for the big one, and here's the evidence of that. A
little stiff arm right there when he turned the corner, and that kind of sprung him.
All the way on the Erwin side of the field before he's finally drugged down. So setting up shop on the 44. Likes Dinwiddie. On a turn, give to the man in motion. Enough of a cut. Deshaun Tears. Deshaun tears inside the 25. He's still on his feet. Works to the 10. And he will be out of bounds and inside the 10-yard line at the 8. And Deshaun Tears, boy, that's a familiar name in these parts, is it not, Tim?
That is a football game from Western North Carolina. His Uncle Manny played at Brevard, was a star, and then he starred at Western Carolina. And he was also a running back, as I recall, and a good football name. I heard that name and I thought, well, I know he must be related to one of those guys.
Ends up being P.J. Deshaun Tears on this occasion, who has them in the First Bank Red Zone. Told you about all the First Bank locations to serve you a little bit earlier. We'll get back to that before the night's done, but we thank the folks at First Bank for sponsoring the Red Zone. Carey, a keeper for Dinwiddie, and he's going to work even closer to pay dirt here as he's inside the 5-yard line. I'm going to say he's spotted at the 3. And Roberson trying to make quick work of this drive after that 6-minute plus possession of the football to begin things tonight, showing they can also work quickly. There's some of the action taking place off the ball. as Dinwiddie was marked down at the 3-yard line. Has him back up to the line again. Little pitch. Jeter turned aside. How about the job Nicholas Sharp did right there to come up and make the stop? Nick Sharp, one of the captains for Erwin, has already been a factor in this one for the home team tonight.
He has. He's been sniffing out those plays and actually met him in the backfield this time.
Take a look, little one-on-one there as he makes the tackle in open field to get the job done. It's going to set up 3rd down after a loss of about 2. It'll be 3rd from the 5. Inside 10 minutes, as you can see, remaining in the 2nd period. Roberson and Dinwiddie. This time didn't have a chance to set his feet. He had a man open right on the goal line, but could not make the connection. Looking for Jeter there, but it ends up landing at his feet, incomplete. Pressure was there, Tim.
So tough to throw across the body when you're running in the opposite direction, and he did a good job on that.
Now you credit Erwin with the pressure they provided to force him to get rid of the football before he was in a position to set his feet and do anything with it. 4th down. And the kicking unit comes on. And here comes the 21-yard try, but before we get it, a flag is down. And here they go. Going to move things a little closer, and that changes the mind of the coaching staff on the far side. As the offensive unit works its way right back out there. And Lex Dinwiddie now a little closer, thinking about putting this in the end zone. At least that's what both father and son have in mind here. Gives this off. Still fighting to get into the end zone, and able to do so is Deshaun Tears. Somewhat fitting, he rushed it down into the red zone, and now he has the United Federal Credit Union touchdown to cap the 2nd scoring drive of the ball game for TCR. And just like that, it is 13-0 Rams. So a 4th and goal call to hand the ball to PJ Deshaun Tears, and it pays off for the 2nd score of the night. Extra point coming. And it is going to sneak inside the upright, good. So both the extra points in this one good thus far. And a 14-0 lead, as on 4th and goal, the Rams roll the dice and double the advantage. Well, 2 drives for Roberson, and both of those drives ending in points, ending in touchdowns. In fact, 2 very different drives, Tim, when you look at them. The one that took an extended period of time in the first period, and the second quarter drive that showed you just how quickly Roberson can get the job done.
Similar yardage on both. The first 78, the second one 81 yards. The first one 12 plays, the second one 7 plays. 6:08 in the first one, but only 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So a quick scoring drive by the Rams this time.
So a touchdown in each quarter, and TCR out front 14-0. So difficult in a night like tonight, what is presented for the Rams, because this is a conference rivalry game as well. It's a big one. But you can't help to some degree but look ahead to next week knowing that all your goals may very well be on the table if things can simply go well tonight. So far, they've shown every indication of remaining focused.
Yes, they have, and they did exactly what they wanted to do every time they had the ball. Both of the times they've had the ball.
Every time they've had the ball. I love that phrase when you think about the way they have used the clock tonight, and certainly been effective to their, as they call it, standard. And certainly living up to that tonight. With 9:33 to play in the second period, Erwin to take over again. You said it on the last drive. It felt as if Erwin really needed some points. Certainly a sustained drive seems key right here.
They wasted no time in getting down the field.
Well, you'll want to stick around. Those 2 touchdowns will no doubt be a part of the highlight package, and a whole lot more coming your way as part of the Asheville Chevy Show at the half. Again, our halftime report, the Asheville Chevy Show, coming up your way a little bit later tonight. This is going to be tossed far side, just in front of the sideline. That's positive yardage up near the 30. Good for probably 7. Let's see exactly where they spot him out of bounds, but a very positive first down gain, and just the way you want to start the drive if you're the Southpaw QB. One thing you notice right away, Tim, Caden Ingle not shying away despite his youth, despite, we said, kind of growing into his own at that quarterback position. He's firing away, and here a little bit too much juice on it, but you have to like the idea, though it is incomplete. Going to be a 3rd down and about 4 coming.
He's a cool customer. For 14 years old, can you imagine as a senior?
Hard to even think about, and again, it's something we'll talk about a few times tonight. I know a lot of folks coming and going, coming in from their games later tonight, checking on what's happening elsewhere. He turned 14 in August. So you're talking about one of the late birthdays. When they're practicing and preparing for the season, he's 13 years old. And still, because of, as you said, the maturity, obviously you see the way he passes the eye test size-wise already. A number of folks around the state have pointed at this young man and said, he's got the potential to really be something special. Why not get some sea legs underneath him right away, as Coach Pruitt and his staff are trying to do here in 2023. Nice job to just put the football in the other arm and stay on his feet as he does so. It is Milky Ray again up across the 40. Move the chains. Big time conversion for Erwin as they'll have a Mills River Family Dental first down.
Ray did a good job turning the corner here. He switches the ball into his other hand as he makes that cut and picks up that yardage on the outside.
He makes it interesting for a broadcaster, does he not? A name like Milky Ray.
He does.
He's got candy bars over here that's confusing us a little bit from time to time. Boy, he's just as smooth. He's been solid tonight for this Erwin squad. Stacked up this time as it's given right back his direction, and why not go back to Ray? He's good for a yard or so. Second down and about 9 coming at the 9-minute mark even remaining in the first half.
I think he'll make the all-name team.
He's going to be one of those. You got it. The all-moniker squad, he's a cinch. And if you're looking for those who are going to make the all-investment squad from a coaching standpoint, look at these two. We talked about it. Nearly 3 decades for them both in the coaching ranks. Their chess match continues tonight, this time with an incompletion on second down. Tried to come near side looking for Michael Petty, but that's out of his reach. Now, one thing you love about both of these coaches, and they talked about it, that you think about the father-son connection on one side, you think about the investment in so many young players on the other side, that yes, what happens between the white lines tonight is important, but even more than that, they're developing young men in the community that they hope are great leaders, great citizens in the days and years ahead, and you can certainly draw that from their approach right away. Another Ball near the hash on that right side that just lands away from everyone on the turf, and 4th down is coming. Still in their own territory. Erwin will be forced to send the kicking unit back out.
You talked about the father-son connection. Number 5, Hunter Cromer, his father is an assistant coach for Erwin, and number 55, Nathaniel Brown, his father is also an assistant coach. So a lot of father-son connections, and there's nothing more enjoyable as a father than coaching your son.
Well, and working with him, something that you know a great deal about from your time over the years, certainly the early days of these shows. You know, you said it, a great memory that you had from right here in this facility when you talk about your own personal experience.
Well, my son Britt played for Asheville High, and he actually caught a pass as a lineman in the end zone. It was a tip pass, and that was a pass reception. Of course, it was an ineligible receiver, but he said, it was in the air. It was coming down. I was going to catch it.
I was going to catch it, and he did. What a guy, Britt. Let's take a look at the smile that are evident all across this place. That certainly puts a smile on your face. And Asheville Smiles, Cosmetic and Family Dentistry, putting smiles on faces all across the region. And they got plenty to smile about on this night. For one, the rain seeming to give way of late, and an engaging football game so far. 2 touchdowns on the board for Roberson, but positive things to build on for Erwin to this point. This one's still in doubt as we work through the early stages of the second quarter.
I think the Erwin coach would say he's got Roberson right where he wants them.
Well, certainly within striking distance at this point, and that's among the challenges when he talked about energy and execution. It was all about hanging around on a night like this. If you can do that with a young team, you just never know.
You know, you don't feel like that it's a 2-score difference the way these teams have gone up and down the field and been able to move the ball.
Well, and you know, will it happen on a kicking play? Will it happen on a play that follows? But one bounce of the ball to go your direction, and you find yourself in a 1-score game once more. That's what's in mind as the Warriors kick it away, and it's going to work its way toward the fencing. You know, that's over near Stan and Bobby over there. You can see them up on the top right-hand corner of your screen. The Asheville Chevy show's coming, but almost forced to show their athletic skills on that one as it worked its way over near the fencing area. You'll hear from Stan and Bobby a whole lot more, as we reminded you a moment ago, on the Asheville Chevy show at the half. We are 8:22 from halftime at the moment, and it is the 3rd drive of the football game for Roberson, having scored on both, and that's the group right now looking for some type of defensive response from their young squad. We talked about it right out of the gate, but you know, under 40 players dressed, and yes, in the 30s, decent number when you talk about size, when you talk about location, but when it comes to the depth chart, really about 18 players or so that they're working in and out. So this defense back out there after a short breather for some and no breather for others who were on the offensive side of the ball. We'll see if this offensive approach for Roberson continues to wear on that, because that's another advantage of this option offense and how much discipline it requires, how many things you have to honor on each play. It'll wear you down over time.
And Roberson has the numbers on the roster as well if they need to get some reinforcements.
Another advantage for the Rams in this one. 2nd down, here's Dinwiddie going to carry it across midfield, and he is brought down by Michael Petty, one of those two-way players for Erwin, just inside Erwin territory. That is a Mills River Family Dental 1st down on the carry by Dinwiddie.
Watch us blocking on the right side of the line, sealing it on the inside, and giving him that opening.
Well, the unheralded group, that offensive line, for all the playmakers. We talk about the stable of backs and the talent of the quarterback and certainly the play calling, but it all hinges on the ability of that group in the trenches to get the job done, and they've fared well in that department tonight thus far as well.
Yes, they have.
1st down from the 48. 7 and change remaining in the opening half, and that's going to be kept by Dinwiddie. He's right on that Erwin logo, right at the tip of that spear at the 43 where they're going to mark him. Going to be 2nd down and about 6 now. 3rd drive if you're just joining us. 12 plays, 78 yards, 6 minutes plus. 7-0 TCR. That was their only drive of the 1st period. 7 plays, 81 yards, 2 minutes and change, 2:10 to be specific. Made it 14-0 TCR. Now the Rams moving again with 6.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Dinwiddie going over the top just a little bit to the left of his intended receiver. Was trying to find P.J. Deschantaires, who had the rushing touchdown on the 4th and goal play that capped the most recent drive, but this toss is incomplete.
Good coverage by the Erwin secondary on that play as well.
Well, here's another 3rd down, Tim. Another opportunity for Erwin. Going to shake this one out to 3rd down at about 6. And Wright will say it again, at the tip of the spear on the Erwin logo. What a defensive stand would mean right here, potentially, as the tip of the spear of the Erwin comeback. And it looks like they're going to be able to stack up the ball carrier after a gain of maybe a yard. And it will be 4th and about 5 as the Erwin Warriors defense tightens. You got to be impressed with, we talk about the numbers scenario, the depth issues with some of the injuries that the Warriors have dealt with, and yet this group standing tall and forcing a 4th down and 6. It was on a 4th down play down on the goal line on which the latest touchdown was scored. Can they convert again on 4th down? Little toss far side. How about getting off that block and making the stop? There's a flag that comes in at the end of this, but it was turned aside by Erwin. If the result of the play stands, it is a turnover on downs and a big time lift for the home team. And it's a critical call on the penalty. Early indications are this is going to be holding against Roberson, and if that's the case, it will be declined. You saw it there. And the Warriors take over on downs after a stand of their own. Here is the first defensive stop of the night. And one more time, you give plenty of credit, and we've called his name over and over again tonight, Tim, to Nick Sharp, who was able to get off that block and delay the ball carrier's progress long enough for the rest of his teammates to arrive, and as a result, it's 1st and 10 Erwin.
Nick Sharp, an all-conference player.
And he's playing like it tonight. Here's the QB showing off the wheels. There's Engel up to the 48-yard line. You wonder when they'll pick their spots with Engel obviously showing his ability to scramble right there.
As we've said, he's got the size to do it and the speed, obviously.
A number of quarterbacks we've seen across both states this year that you would look at and say, size-wise, maybe he's a 9th grader. Not this guy, yet he is the youngster of youngsters among those that we've seen this year. But we said it, high ceiling, great potential. That's the discussion that surrounds any conversation about Caden Engel. Takes the snap here. He'll give it off to his back. Ray breaks loose, finds another gear, and Milky Ray will take it home to put the home team on the board. The Warriors looking to cut the lead in half with a pending extra point. A 52-yard run for the United Federal Credit Union touchdown. Well, he's going to be more than on the all-moniker team, Tim. Milky Ray being like an all-conference performer here.
What a cutback there to break into the open field and some speed to burn.
A defensive stop that serves as a catalyst for the offensive moment of the night on the Warriors side of things, and Erwin is on the board. 14-6 with the extra point coming. Here's an offsides penalty prior to the pending extra point. Daniel Bojangles punches it up and through. And it is 14-7, a one-score game. Thanks to this break-loose run by Milky Ray, who finds the end zone. Give him something to celebrate here at Erwin. Carolina Furniture Concepts, over $5 million of furniture in stock, ready to deliver. Visit their Arden and Waynesville showrooms or go online to carolinafurnitureconcepts.com. Well, it is time to take a glance at our in-market moment of the night. The band giving you a little bit of spirit, plenty of it after the touchdown for Erwin just a moment ago. We thank our friends at In-Market for sponsoring so much of the pageantry surrounding high school football. That is our in-market moment of the night as you get a look at the spotlight on the band. 4:45 to play in the opening half of action, and after a couple of plays, 58 yards, including the 52-yard run, and why not keep it in the 50s? 51 seconds off the game clock. It is now a separation of 7, and boy, did the homestanding Erwin Warriors need that, Tim.
They really did. That's exactly what they needed at that time, bringing it to a one-score difference with 4.5 minutes left in the first half, and it really showed that they could put points on the board against these guys.
Well, the fans enjoying it. You can see Warrior Nation having turned out in support of this group. It is homecoming tonight at Erwin High, and all the activities that come with it. Just 4 minutes 45 seconds away now, but a lot of key football left. How often do coaches tell us that the last few minutes of the first half, the first few minutes of the second half, on so many occasions where the game is won or lost? This has that feel as Roberson tries to reinstate its will on this next drive, and Erwin wants to prove they are right in the thick of this thing. Here's the boot back to the 15, and the return good for a little more than 15. In fact, it's going to be 20 plus up across the 35 to the 37-yard line when all is said and done. 4:38 to play as Dinwiddie and company take over. You got to remember, for all the talk about the scoring drive just a moment ago, every bit of that began with the defensive stop by Erwin. And now let's see if they can recapture that defensive energy on this drive. And the all-conference performer. One of the reasons that that drive went so well, Nicholas Sharp, who snuffed out the 4th down play. Continuing to move the pile up near the 40, and that's where a host of those dark home jerseys wrestle the ball carrier down. You know, you think about what this defense has had to do and what this young team has had to do, and it is evidenced by the fact that they write brotherhood across the back of their jerseys. It's not an individual name, Tim Amos. It's the brotherhood for which they play here at Erwin High.
It sure is, and I thought they were all named Brotherhood.
You did for a moment.
Second,
okay.
yeah.
Now it's becoming clear for you.
Glad you cleared that up for me, Jason. But you are absolutely right. That is the mindset.
Has to be when you're coming into your own. You're developing as a team. You're gelling across the course of the year, the way this Erwin squad has. Dinwiddie goes down the line. It's going to be the pitch. There's some room across the 50 and into Erwin territory. Cradle had a touchdown run earlier, and he's got a Mills River Family Dental first down here with 3:47 to play. Clock will stop briefly as they reset the chains. Coach Dinwiddie and his crew scoring on their first 2 drives of the night to take a 14-0 lead. Now seeing Erwin take a slice out of that, but back to work in Warriors territory again. This is near the area where the last drive ended. This one going to continue. How about this run? A flag comes in just as the cut is made, and finally rushed out of bounds inside the 10-yard line is Deshaun Tears, but this may very well be coming back because the flag at the 42 was right about the time he broke loose.
And it looked like a holding as he was trying to get some help turning the corner there. And the Roberson players are having some discussion with the official.
And there is the indicator. We'll give you another glance at it here. This is where the cut was made by Deshaun Tears. And And then, of course, you see the ultimate end of the play, but the flag comes in right about here. And it's going to be from behind the sticks that TCR will go to work, and now back in their own territory at the 49-yard line. Give off. Jeter. Jeter to the 40. Jeter finds a little room outside, and he's inside the 25-yard line. They're going to mark him at the 24. So he's just outside the red zone, and it is a first down for TCR, a Mills River Family Dental first down coming with 3:17 to play. Stiff wind continuing to blow, but it looks as if the rain has given way on what is a comfortable night in mid-October in western North Carolina. And from the 24, Dinwiddie with recovery. He'll try to go down the line. They have him covered up, and a flag comes in at around the 26-yard line as the play was continuing, trying to make something out of nothing after the difficulty on the snap.
Tried to turn the corner, and he did a good job of making something out of it. I'm not sure if that was a face mask. It looked like it may have been with the flag coming in.
And that's going to walk it off as if that's the case. It will, in fact, be a face mask against Erwin, and that will move it into the First Bank red zone. All of our red zone opportunities tonight brought to you by First Bank. 21 locations across western North Carolina and the Upstate. 16 of those right here in western North Carolina to serve you. That's First Bank, sponsors of tonight's red zone. Now one drive after, turning TCR aside. Erwin's defense challenged once more, this time from inside the 20. Going to be pitched. Deshaun Tears working for the pylon, and they're going to mark him out of bounds at around the 2, just inside it, as Deshaun Tears and company going to be set up first and goal, and knocking on the doorstep one more time.
Deshaun Tears takes his hand off, or the pitch rather, and turns to the right side, heads for the pylon, almost makes it.
A couple of defenders there to keep him out of the end zone, but Dinwiddie quickly up to the line. Take the snap, try to just follow that offensive line into the end zone. He will. Touchdown, Roberson. Well, so much of the work done by the offensive line on this drive. The catalyst for what is the latest United Federal Credit Union touchdown for the Rams. It is now 27 as Roberson takes that score right back. Here's how it became 20-7. Just a little sneak on the inside. And here comes Garcia to put a foot into it as he attempts to connect on the extra point. Blocked. Will that factor in as we move deeper into the night? Breaking through to get a hand on it, Aaron Dover, a senior wide receiver slash DB. Take another look at this. Now Dover came running out of there. Looks as if it was actually, let's see who got a hand on that. Actually blocked. First man on the scene. And grabbing his side just a little bit when all was said and done after that play was over with. Looked as if that was maybe Nick Schultz, who's one of the catalysts on that defense, who got a hand on that. And he's still checking himself just to make sure all is well. But he did the big job, which was making sure he kept that extra point off the board. It'll be 27 instead of 21-7, thanks to his good work.
Yeah, that could be a very important block right there.
So with 2:49 to play in the half, Roberson having to scored now off 3 of their 4 touches of the football in this half. set to kick it away one more time to the home team. End over end. Live ball diving in there in a catch your breath moment, as we often call it. Think about just how much effort it took for who else but Nick Sharp again to make sure possession was preserved for the Warriors. The fans getting a little antsy there all of a sudden as that ball rattled around momentarily. But he preserves possession, and it's first down from the 29. Will this be Erwin's final chance of the half? Remember, Erwin had the football first, so perhaps the outcome of this drive elevated by the fact that Roberson will have the initial touch of it in the third quarter. Already at this point, up 13.
Well, Erwin needs to run out the clock whether they score or not, so that Roberson doesn't pick up any momentum at the end of the first half that goes into the second half.
And you'd like to get something knowing that Roberson will have the football in the third quarter, just to make sure you stay within striking distance, which again, one of the challenges tonight for this team, looking for energy and execution, and that was almost more trouble, but it just eludes that defensive group. Boy, Gilliland was right there. Take a look at how close this is to being cradled by Gilliland. Instead, third down is coming. 7 needed for Erwin. I go back to your point, Tim. It's critical they somehow convert here for no other reason than to play a little keep away toward the end of the half. Flags come out. That's going to be offsides against TC Roberson. You know, we haven't talked about it yet. While they sort this penalty out, maybe worth doing so. You got some famous alums, right? You talk about these schools. Got some guys from around the state who've made their mark, maybe even on other sports, who hail from when you see those TCR colors, and certainly that becomes familiar. We'll get into some of that before the night's done. You wonder what these young men are going to do, how they become the next to make their mark, perhaps. Rush near side, out of bounds. There is Ray again. He had the big run, the lengthy run, the 52-yarder that put this Warriors squad on the board. Here, he's got a Mills River Family Dental first down. Boy, Ray is a nice-looking player, is he not, Tim?
He really is, and he's not that big. 5'9", 153, just a junior, but very slithery, I guess you would say. He can just knife right through the defense.
Been elusive so far tonight. Clock now at just over 2 minutes remaining. And here's Engel going to keep it, and he's up to the 44. And at the very end of this, a flag comes in, may be consequential here to the drive itself for Erwin. Two minutes remaining in the half. And then it's Setzer and his crew taking care of things as the clock does roll inside 2 minutes remaining. Here's another look at the calls. At the very end of that run, you saw the block, and the reason what looked like it was going to be a positive gain for Erwin was negated. So after the block and the back call, now 98 seconds remain in the half, and well behind the sticks, this Erwin squad now. Now, you know, Ray can roll that off in one run, has a 50-plus yard carry a little bit earlier. And you've seen the arm strength from time to time that Engel has. Obviously will come into his own in terms of being on target with those receivers, and that's a chemistry that the brotherhood as they call themselves, would develop over the years. But the ability's certainly there. Let's see if he chooses to unleash one here. They try to set it up for Ray using both of those skills underneath, but it is incomplete. The clock will stop with 2 ticks plus 1 minute remaining in the half.
Almost as if you drew that play, Jason. You were just talking about the arm and Ray's ability. There it was.
They tried to connect those two things, just wasn't quite to be. And now all of a sudden a third down that is going to require 18 yards in order to move the chains. They need the 49 of Roberson to keep the drive alive. Engel in trouble, and just before he is taken to the turf, he does get rid of the football, but it is incomplete. And 4th and long coming as the rain picks up once again, and the umbrellas go back out with just under a minute remaining before the half. Well, that's one of the toughest jobs in the yard tonight. Making sure you take care of those footballs, and you see how the umbrellas are being put in use once more as the heavy rain starts falling. But as Tim told you a little earlier in the broadcast, in this part of the world, it is a welcome rain. Erwin trying to handle this cleanly. Pressure was there for Roberson. Pretty good kick. It'll take a nice bounce, and the coverage just as true. You know, you think about all the different things that these players, limited in number though they may be, have done tonight. And who is that but Ray, who is in there to make the stop. Perfect coverage on that punt.
Ray is in the middle of a lot of plays tonight.
He's doing a little bit of everything.
And that was a good kick. Another booming punt, 44 yards.
Very nicely done. 49 seconds with which to work for this Roberson squad. They've made use of all but one of the possessions tonight. Yeah, one of the benefits of Roberson's offensive style, not much effect on you when the rain's coming down. You still are able to keep churning up that yardage as they've done all season long. You know, this is a team that may very well end with 3 backs that have over 1,000 yards when all is said and done. And they've rushed for 3,000 yards coming into tonight in 7 games. Doesn't mean they won't throw it from time to time, though this proves costly. And guess who? It's Milky Ray again, this time making the interception his moment of choice. He has offensively with the 52-yard run, special teams wise with the coverage a moment ago, and now defensively with the pick, been the headliner for his team thus far tonight.
Milky Ray has been everywhere. He just put himself right in the perfect position to make that interception. It was kind of a high toss, and he had time to get under it.
Iron Man football, he's been the definition of it. Now all of a sudden Erwin starts thinking about points toward the end of the half with 38 ticks to play. The ball is incomplete. And 2nd down is coming. Well, here's Engel and this young team set up at the 35-yard line with a chance for points heading into the locker room. And you talked momentum a little bit earlier, Tim. Here's a spot in which the home team can certainly grab some.
They sure can. This is exactly how they wanted to do it and to get something going. If they could put a score on the board, that would do wonders for this team.
Defense has been the catalyst tonight for Erwin. They had the stand as they turned Roberson over on downs, which sparked the scoring drive. And now, after the interception by Ray, go back to Nick Sharp, who was asked to handle the football. And timeout is being taken by Erwin to preserve as many chances as possible with 32.9 to play. Well, if you wondered about the fight of this team, you know, sometimes the record's deceptive. You think about the tough slate they've played. I mean, this is a team that has dealt with Reynolds, Asheville, and now TCR in succession the last 3 weeks. And you're talking about the team's top tier in this conference this year. And yet they have continued to battle. The record a little bit deceptive. You've seen the fight they put forth here tonight, Tim.
And they went through Murderer's Row with all that youth. And they're looking very good. They're looking better every game.
Tonight, an evidence of it. What a key drive this could be. They find a way to come away with something. And again, in that most recent contest, the points scored of the field goal variety, a 35-yarder. So you know the range is there. Should they opt to try to make this a 10-point game at some point? Now, clearly, they're going to need a little more yardage here to get into that kind of range. But just to say, with 32 seconds, it doesn't have to be a touchdown for Erwin to inch a little closer. The leg is there to grab 3 if they so choose. And you're looking at about 10, 12 more yards before you're in a comfort zone to that end. But it would be an option. And here's the southpaw QB, Engel. That may be those 10 or 15 yards. This is caught at the 21-yard line. That's a connection with Hunter Cromer. And you can move the chains. A Mills River Family Dental first down with 22 seconds remaining in the opening half. And again, a fresh set of downs. So now, time more critical maybe than opportunities on downs. And this is incomplete as it was covered well on that far side. Well, the penalty flag was down at the 22. Let's see what Dennis Setzer's crew has to walk off here. It will be offsides against TCR, so now you're even closer. And Tim, you can think pretty heavily about that field goal chance should things not go well.
You're almost in the extra point range at this point.
But they're thinking about a lot more than that with 15 seconds on the clock. It's a first down play coming. So again, the plays that Erwin may need to find the end zone to draw up a few opportunities here. Not as bit of an issue right now as the timing on the game clock. So here is the first down play from inside the first bank red zone. And before it gets underway, whistles again, and another flag is down. This one at around the 17-yard line. That's going to be against the Rams again. So all of a sudden, TCR having some trouble lining up here. And everything comes to a halt as they have placed 22 seconds back up on the clock. And timeout is being taken to preserve every bit of that. So here is Erwin after going down 14-0. Home team scored to make it 14-7. Now driving again to make it one possession once more. And there's a look at what is a second offsides penalty against the Rams in this portion of the field on this drive.
And this is not typical of a Rams team making back-to-back mistakes like that.
Well, there you see the challenge to the Rams defense as they try and make sure the 13-point lead holds steady heading into the half. Coach Dinwiddie and his crew, you know the task for them. Try to set up the showdown next week that would be for the conference if everything goes well on this night for this young brotherhood under his direction. It's about growing up a little more on a night like this, and what a win would do if they're able to battle from behind to lay the foundation for a future that he and his staff believe are very bright.
They've got several attempts to go for the end zone with 22 seconds left.
Going to hand it off. That's Sharp who's given the football, and he's inside the 15, and there's another timeout being taken. So Erwin having burned those timeouts now. From 22 seconds to 15 seconds it goes on this play to Sharp.
Just a good job running laterally to the line of scrimmage. He just can't quite turn the corner that time, and a good defensive play coming up by the Rams. And again, Erwin calls timeout.
Yeah, so now time is even more of a factor as Erwin having burned those timeouts. And they'll have 15 seconds, though it is just second down. So you got a chance, Tim, if you go to the air, to go at it more than once.
Yeah.
If you decide to go to the ground again at some point, you would think with no timeouts remaining, it'll be very difficult to get back up to the line. So keeping that in mind, Take us inside that Erwin huddle as best you can based upon what we've seen.
Well, I think the coach has in his mind we've got a field goal potentially in our pocket at this point, so we don't want to do anything silly like throwing an interception, have a fumble or anything like that. We don't want to run the ball on an extended type play that will run out the clock because we have no timeouts and we may not be able to clock it and stop the clock. So we'll see what happens.
Always that delicate balance. We'll see what they decide to do as Erwin goes back to work. Clock in motion. They do throw toward the end zone. That is caught at the 1. Clock's going to continue to roll. Warriors quickly up to the line. Well, timeout being called for. You saw on the indicator on the screen that there were none remaining, evidently just one in the pocket of the Warriors. So Erwin now will have burned their final timeout of the half. And it's on the 1-yard line with 6 seconds to play. Talk about decisions. Here's another look at what was a near touchdown for Erwin. Well thrown ball, and he didn't miss a touchdown by much. Boy, if there had just been the ability for Michael Petty, but he was under such pressure just to catch the football. Had he just had the ability to stretch the football out, was right there to break the plane. Instead, makes the nice catch, puts his team on the doorstep, and with 9.6 to play, a goal to go scenario in effect for an Erwin squad wanting to tighten things up heading to the half.
Again, it's possible if they throw the ball, they could get a couple of plays out of this.
And that's exactly what Erwin decided to do the last time around, and again. The down's not an issue. The time is 9.6 on the game clock. Just kind of toss that inside. 5. It's down to 4. It's 3. Will they even get it spiked? It is not going to happen, and Erwin's scoring opportunity goes by the wayside as the Warriors try to rush the football in from the 1, and the momentum goes to a Roberson team that will carry a 20-7 lead into the locker room. Just when it looked as if the Warriors were going to close the gap, the defensive stand belongs to Roberson. Halftime coming up. Ray and company impressive, but it's the Rams leading it with the Asheville Chevy Show right around the corner.
Corner brought to you by Carolina Furniture Contest. So, Coach, I got to tell you, this has been an exhilarating match like the way we all hoped it was going to be. Big-time rivalry game, and you guys are clearly in command of this game. The run game has been pretty solid. What are your thoughts on the first half, Coach?
Ugly from our part, I think. I think Erwin did a really good job. They have a good offense and defensive game plan. We're playing sloppy, but I'm not trying to take any credit away from them. To me, I think they're playing a little harder than us. I think they're being a little more physical than us right now, and which has not been the case this year. So we got to wake up a little bit, or we're just going to be in a dogfight all night long.
What can we expect from your team in the second half of the game, Coach?
Well, I'm going to go talk to them right now, and hopefully we'll come out and fire on all cylinders, and we'll get this thing figured out.
All right, Coach, we'll look to you and your boys in the second half. We'll be back in just a moment with the Asheville Chevrolet halftime show. Don't go away.
Bojangles Friday Night Rivals halftime, brought to you by Asheville Chevrolet.
Welcome back to the Asheville Chevrolet halftime show here on Friday Night Rivals. Joining us is the long-standing and proud supporter from Asheville Chevrolet. Y'all know him pretty well at this point, Mr. Bobby Roussel. Bobby, good to have you on the show here tonight, sir.
Great to be here. Great enjoying the football game. We finally got us a really good game.
We do got us a good game. What are your thoughts on the second half of the game? What do you think is going to happen?
I think they're going to fight, but I really think it's going to still be a close game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure you are too.
Oh, yes.
Now, Bobby, as always, you and Stan, I know he's not here with us here tonight, but you guys always look good in y'all's pink shirts. Now, y'all had an event 2 weeks ago. For those who may have missed it, give us a brief overview of the event.
Well, it was a breast cancer event. We were raising money for Hope Chest for Women.
That's right.
For the people that can't afford breast cancer survivors, that, you know, that we wanted them to come out and be screened so that we can catch breast cancer early and save people's lives.
So it sounds like it was a resounding success. Am I correct to assume that?
It was an absolute success, and we really want to thank the viewers who all came and participated in the event.
Of course. Now, speaking of Asheville Chevrolet, it does make me wonder, how's business looking these days? We're now in the fourth quarter of the year.
Business is great. We're starting to get some inventory. The strike is kind of scaring us in the latter part of the year.
Right.
But everything's looking great right now. We're getting Traxxas, we're getting Suburbans, we're getting Trailblazers. So everything's looking up.
All excellent indeed. Now, Bobby, it kind of does make me wonder. I understand you guys always give a shout out to a special member of y'all staff. I get it. Here tonight, there actually is a member of your staff from TC Roberson. Is that right?
That is correct. My son, Brandon Roussel, graduated from TC Roberson.
That's right. What class is he, by the way?
2013.
All right. So he's a recent graduate, about 10 years ago. All excellent indeed. Well, Bobby, as always, on behalf of Friday Night Rivals, thank you and Stan, and of course, Asheville Chevrolet. Thank y'all for y'all's long-standing, proud, and of course, robust support of high school athletics. We truly could not do it without you, sir.
Well, thank you, and we really enjoy being out here.
Thank you. We'll be back in just a moment, folks. Welcome back to the Asheville Chevrolet Halftime Show. At this time, folks, we'd like to take this opportunity to recognize our producer here at Friday Night Rivals, Mr. Evan Ellis. Unfortunately, folks, tonight will be Evan's final game as our producer here on Friday Night Rivals. However, fortunately for him, despite the fact that we are sad to see him go, we are beyond thrilled for him as he begins a new and exciting position at Virginia Tech. Now, while Evan, in this case, may not be someone who the viewers at home are aware of as an on-screen and familiar presence on camera here at Friday Night Rivals, behind the scenes, folks, I can assure you beyond a shadow of a doubt, he has played a critical role in the days and weeks leading up to each and every game of the season. His leadership abilities are remarkable, and his overall tenacity as a producer, even during difficult times, has been nothing short of steadfast and resilient. With Evan, we wish Evan, in this case, his lovely wife, Katie, and of course their gorgeous baby 3-month-old girl, Miss Betsy, all the best on their new journey. And Evan, on behalf of the entire F&R team, including all the guys and gals in the truck sitting right next to you right now, we thank you for all your hard work. You will be missed, but we know you'll be with us here in spirit throughout the remainder of the season, now and always. Congratulations once again, Evan. We'll be back in just a moment, folks. Hey everybody, I'm Nelson Weston. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Friday Night Rivals. Joining us today is our long-standing good friend all the way from Ingalls Markets, Melissa Leva. Good to see you, my friend.
Your football friend.
It's football friend indeed. Now, Melissa, speaking of football, I want to transition from football to the classroom because you and I both know y'all have a famous program called Tools for Schools. And for those who are unfamiliar, how exactly does it operate on one hand, but on the other hand, more importantly, how do the good folks at home go about supporting it and getting involved today?
Oh, Nelson, it's really a wonderful program because it's geared toward the school and the needs that they have that sometimes, lots of times, teachers will actually end up buying out of their own pocket.
Indeed.
You have an Ingalls Advantage card and a list of schools who participate in the Ingalls Tools for School program. Link your card to one of those schools, and every time you shop, you're earning dollars. At the end of the year, the school can go and purchase what items they need.
Oh, that sounds like an amazing and well-rounded program.
Right.
Now, Ingalls, y'all have provided robust support to the community for so many years now. We're talking high school athletics, college athletics, and everything in between. It does beg the fundamental question, why? Why is this so critical for y'all?
Well, it's not just sports, but it's also educational programs, but we're the home team. Ingalls is your hometown grocery market, so you are also supporting our home teams.
Of course.
It's really important for us to be a part of that community. We love being part of that, and we're blessed to be able to do that. Lots of those students work at our stores or graduated from those schools. We see these people in church. We see these people at work. This is a really big deal for us. Might be a big company to look at us from the outside in, but we like being beacons in our own community. communities.
Y'all are beacons indeed. All outstanding work. Now, Melissa, very quickly, you and I both know no great game is complete without delicious, mouth-watering good food. What are some of the most popular items on y'all's menu?
Oh my goodness, you have to start off with a wonderful boar's head sub, just absolutely good with all the trimmings, great fried chicken, all the sides you could possibly want, a wonderful salad bar, a wing bar, olive bar. I mean, I don't know if I could decide. I just have to go get a big old wheelbarrow and take it all there, plus all the things you need like chips and drinks and paper plates. One-stop shopping place for all your tailgating.
All fantastic work indeed. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for your time here today.
Thank you, Nelson.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment.
Plans to attend Haywood Community College in the fall for cosmetology with a concentration in business. Then she plans to transfer to a university and finish out her business degree. She hopes to own her own salon one day. Her favorite quote is live, laugh, love.
Bojangles Friday Night Rivals halftime, brought to you by Asheville Chevrolet.
Welcome back to the Asheville Chevrolet Halftime Show. Well, folks, we had the privilege to stand next to the gorgeous homecoming queen here at Erwin High School, Miss Kiara Plummer. Kiara, congratulations on being crowned homecoming queen.
Thank you. I just want to thank everyone that voted for me. I'm so thankful for all of you guys.
What was that moment like when you first found out you became queen? What was going through your mind at that moment?
I was scared. I was like, oh God, I don't know. I was just scared. I'm still scared.
That's all right. Now tell us, what do you do here in school? What are you known for in terms of extracurricular activities?
I am the varsity cheerleading captain.
So I'm sure you want to cheer right now, of course, obviously on camera, yeah. Well, what are some of your post-high school plans?
Just to go to college.
What do you think you want to study in the long run?
I know I'm going to Haywood to start my career, but after that, I don't know yet. I'm not sure.
Well, what does this moment mean for you as the proud homecoming queen, especially on a night like tonight where it's homecoming and it's also a big rivalry game as well? What's going through your heart and your mind right now?
We want to win the game. I know that for sure, yeah. I don't know.
Well, Kiara, once again, congratulations on being the homecoming queen here at Erwin High School. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us here tonight. We'll be back in just a moment, folks.
Bojangles Friday Night Rivals Halftime, brought to you by Asheville Chevrolet.
Well, it looked as if the score was going to change in the closing seconds of the first half. It was not to be. TC Roberson's 20-7 lead built in the first and the midway point of the second periods would stick. You're going to see a lot of the rushing attack from Roberson. Boy, was it effective.
It really was. A 78-yard drive in the first quarter. Indiana touchdown by Cradle. An 81-yard drive, Deschanter's touchdown.
So many of the big plays that they were able to break loose for, and Roberson then able to cap more often than not that drive. The scores just like this. Not the only primetime performers, though. How about this?
Milky Ray,
take
52
a look
yards.
At Milky Ray as he goes the distance. And that was not his only moment, Tim. He had the big special teams play, also on interception, as a friend of ours said, playing out of this world. That's fitting, and we talked about the all-moniker team. But in the end, it was Roberson who was able to get the job done, capping those drives and ending up with the 20-7 lead. Your overall thoughts on their performance in the first half?
I thought Roberson did what they needed to do. They almost let Erwin get back into it at the very end, but they held and they forced the clock to end at the end of the first half with Erwin not scoring. So I think Roberson did what they needed to do. They weren't flashy. They ran the ball well, but Erwin did a good job also in the first half in moving the football. They just couldn't punch it in at the end of the half.
Yeah, we're moments away from hearing from Coach Pruitt on the Carolina Furniture Concepts Coach's Corner. And you know he has to be pleased with the knowledge that had he been able to cap off that last drive, had they been able to sustain that earlier drive which stalled in Roberson territory, his team would be in a much different spot. There's certainly plenty to build on there.
Yes, there certainly is. I would be interesting to hear what his thinking was at the end of the first half.
You take a look at his young quarterback filling up your screen just a moment ago. We talked about the adversity, the youth of this team, the challenges depth-wise for the group that calls himself the Brotherhood. And you can see the gelling of that Brotherhood before our very eyes across the course of the season, particularly, as we've said, the young QB and all those in his surrounding cast. And you know, they've shown you snapshots of why many believe this is going to be a team to be reckoned with in the years ahead.
Absolutely. I think 4 years from now, no telling what they could do.
Yeah, certainly plenty of growth between here and there. Time to get the thoughts of the head man here for the home team. He's standing by with Nelson.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Jason. This is the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Carolina Furniture Concepts. Well, Coach, we did have an exciting first half, very dynamic, very back and forth. What were your thoughts on the first half? And furthermore, what was the message to the boys in the locker room just now?
I thought our kids played extremely hard. TC found a few things on us. You know, it's making adjustments on the fly with some injuries and guys having to step up. But I thought, you know, the big offsides on the field goal, we had them stopped, and then we gave them that touchdown. And then us getting down here, you know, I told the guys in the locker room, that's on me. You know, we should have ran it a different run. And but hey, we got to flush it. You know, they got to make me look good. That's what I told them at halftime. And but I'm proud of the kids' effort. They're playing hard, and you know, I think it'll be a tough, hard-fought ball game in the second half as well.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask, what specifically can we look for in the second half of the ball game, Coach? What's that major improvement, that key thing you got to fix right now?
We got to get off the field on fourth down, because you know they're going to try to get us and ground and pound, and we knew that. But now that they've thrown some wrinkles in, we've adjusted. Guys just have to attack, and then offensively, we just have to do what we do. We're protecting pretty good. Quarterback has time, but when their number's called, they got to make the play.
All right, Coach. Good luck to you and your boys in the second half then. Yes, sir. Back to you, Tim. Back to you, Jason.
Well, Tim, you heard him. He documented it for you. If they're able to avoid the offsides penalty, perhaps that's just 3 instead of 7, and then certainly there were points there for the taking at the end of the half. So he looks at the scoreboard, sees his team right in the thick of this thing, and rightfully so.
Yes, that's exactly the way we thought as well. And so it'll be an interesting second half. Now, Erwin has got to show some defense here in the first drive.
You nailed it. Opening possession going to belong to Roberson, and the Erwin Warriors set to kick it away. Second half underway here in Leicester, North Carolina. It's going to be returned across the 25 to the 30, and drug down at the 34-yard line is the return man. Just a little bit slow to work his way to his feet, but plenty of help there for P.J. Deshaun Tears, who has been one of the prime performers tonight. We've seen a lot of Reno Jeter. We've seen a whole bunch, obviously, with a touchdown earlier from Creedle. So many of these backs in the stable for Roberson. Dinwiddie on the keepers from time to time. You wonder where they go on this opening drive. The tone-setting moment of the third quarter set to get underway between Roberson and Erwin. Going to send Deshaun Tears in motion, but a penalty flag is down. It's going to be a false start against Roberson. This was an issue on the last drive of the first half with offsides penalties a couple of times in the closing stages of that drive, and now it plagues Roberson on the offensive side of things as they get the illegal motion penalty before the start.
You know, you would think Roberson would be talking about those mistakes at halftime, and perhaps they were. And it looked like the right side of the line moved just a little bit quick.
Now needing 15 instead of the original 10 after the penalty. The give to Deshaun Tears. He's got a little bit of a hole, but nice hang with him tackle back near the original line of scrimmage there. As, among those hanging on for dear life was Judah Dayton. Judah, one of the key linebackers that they're big on with his growth and development. He's in his junior campaign and one of the key heart and soul members of this defense, as is that guy, Nick Sharp, who has been in the thick of so many plays across the course of things tonight. But nice play by Judah Dayton there. Looking for this defense to grow up before their very eyes. If there is experience on this team, it's on the defensive side of the football, and you've seen that with the way they performed tonight, and it shows up again here. How about that job? You were looking at Nick Sharp just a moment ago, and he steps up, makes the play one more time this go round. Nick Sharp having an all-conference type night, and he has certainly the all-conference background on his resume.
He does. He was all-conference last year, has 4 sacks this year, but not a big guy, 5'11", 151, but packs a powerful punch.
And certainly able to wrap up, as we've seen on more than one occasion tonight, the ball carrier. Creates a 3rd down scenario. Can this defense become a catalyst for impact again? On the Erwin side, and taking it to the skies on 3rd down. That is incomplete. Bodies got tangled up, and now here comes the flag at the very end of the play. You wondered if the flag was going to come out, and normally you're keeping an eye on the guy behind the play, and then here comes the flag from distance, and you knew that there was a chance it was going to pop out there, Tim, when you saw all those bodies get tangled up in the secondary. And this is going to be a tough break for an Erwin team that thought they had perhaps got off the field on this first drive of the half. And that will be a 1st down, as they're trying, with the rain still falling here, to keep the football dry. Take a look at, you'll see them there as they get a little tangled up, and that's the reason for the interference call.
That was a very close play right there. Could have gone either way.
Again, you were looking at 4th and long. Instead, it is a Hendersonville Family Dental 1st down up near the 49-yard line. And a penalty marker down, as this is going to be another false start against the Rams. So a little bit of trouble at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football, and the bookend moments of the half. A little bit of a, well, let's say it this way, less than rhythm on the start to the 3rd quarter here between the defensive pass interference penalty and the couple of false starts on the offense. Another 1st and 15 worked out with the penalty, moving the chains a moment ago the last time around. Let's see if it does here near midfield. They're going to keep it on the ground. That's Creedle, who had the touchdown run earlier. He gets part of it back. 2nd down and 12 coming.
Following his good blocking right there, picked up a few yards.
So 2nd down and 12. Again, it was the penalty once more that has put Roberson behind the sticks. Dinwiddie going to decide to keep it himself right up in the heart of things. Defense was waiting, and the ball comes out. It looks as if Dinwiddie was able to get the football back, or at least somebody on that offensive line. But more importantly here, or as important, look at the group waiting for Dinwiddie as he decided to go forward with the football.
And that second effort, when he turned around and tried to go a different way, he lost the football on that play, and they knocked it away.
Boy, heads up play by the offensive line. You see big 74, that's David Pennant in there to cover it up, make sure the football stays with TCR. But another 3rd down and long. This one 3rd and 14. They needed the 41-yard line of Erwin to move the chains. Say it again, tone-setting drive of the 3rd quarter, and this is tossed out. And that's just back to the original line of scrimmage, if that. It's going to be 4th and 10 at least with 8:38 to play in the 3rd quarter. And another nice job by Nicholas Sharp and company to run this team down the line and allow very little. Boy, Sharp hanging on for dear life until everyone else arrived, including Michael Petty. who helped rush the ball carrier out of bounds.
They wanted that 3 and out at the beginning of the second half, but they got something close to it for the Erwin team.
Sounds like an official timeout is being taken. I think something has happened with the chain over there, the chain crew. They're working with the equipment. Here's one more look at the third down play. They tried to go back to Creedle, and nice job defensively once more by Erwin. Yeah, as best we can tell, there's some type of issue with the chains on the far side. They have one of the markers, not that one. It's the other one that they have. You'll see it as they zoom out here. It was the one on the left that was bent completely over as the officials were doing some kind of work with it, but all looks well now. And we're ready to go back to action on 4th down. That was right where the players worked their way out of bounds, and the collision over there doing some temporary damage. Fortunately not to the change crew, but to some of the equipment over there, but all is well. Return man is at the 20-yard line as Erwin is set to get the football back. Boy, nothing would erase the tough memories of the way the half ended. Like a quick score from Erwin here. That's going to work its way back and into the end zone for a touchback. So Erwin will have a little room to work with after the 52-yard punt. We'll break away, and you will see the Warriors offense when you return to Lester on the other side. Don't let game night dinner get you stressed. Stop by Ingles for great choices from the Ingles Deli. Rotisserie chicken, fresh made salads, a delicious hot bar, and sub bar, all at Ingles. It's dinner and a snap, then off to the game. Ingles, low prices, love the savings. First, second half possession for the Erwin Warriors. Erwin, a nice job defensively to get things started here in the third quarter. And now let's see what the young quarterback can do. 8:10 to play as they take over. After the touchback, following the 52-yard punt. A man in motion, will toss his direction. Very similar to what we saw toward the end of the half. This time around, it's going to be good for a handful, maybe 3 yards. Let's see where they spot this, as he does decide to connect with Aaron Dover on this occasion. Dover, one of the seniors. We talked about how much youth there is on this offense. Dover among the few upperclassmen. They rely heavily upon his leadership on this squad. Second down coming for Erwin. Key drive for a Warriors team that had a chance to close up the gap at the end of the first half. Came away on the doorstep at the goal line without points, but can still make it a one-possession game if they make use of their first touch here in the third. How about this work to find some open space across the 25 to the 28-yard line? That's going to make third down manageable, and that is Ray again, Tim. Milky Ray has just been elusive in all facets tonight for the home team.
He's been a very good player, one of the keys to the success of Erwin tonight.
Now let's see how much success Erwin can have here. It's going to be third down and 1. It's a long one. They need to cross the 30 to move the chains. Caden Ingle far side, and he will not get back to the line of scrimmage. And you see the TCR staff bouncing out there in support of what the defense was able to do on this occasion. Among those in there to help provide the stop, Greg Shale, one of the inside linebackers. Take a look at him come down the line. He eventually drives the quarterback Engel to the turf. A return man for TCR, standing at his own 44. As Erwin will now kick it away. Quick possession for the Warriors. Strong right foot into it. That's a good punt. And it is caught at the 33 and diving forward to about the 37. Is the return man. That is where Roberson will take over after Doherty's reception of the 35-yard punt. 6 minutes even remaining in the third quarter. Both teams now, Tim, having touched the ball once here in the second half. Nothing to show for it on either side as we settle into a third quarter rhythm.
So basically it's a tie right now.
Yeah, to this point in the second quarter, but you look up there and you see 6 minutes on the clock. You know what you think about? That 6-minute drive that Roberson went on in the first quarter, which was what gave the visitors the lead to begin with. They've had 2 drives that were extended in nature, the longest of which was that opening drive of the ball game. 12 plays, 78 yards, 6 minutes, 8 seconds for what at the time was a 7-0 lead. Here's a look at the first play from scrimmage on this drive. And another nice tackle. And guess who the combo is one more time? Aaron Dover in there to help the good work of Nick Sharp again. And there is Nick Sharp, the all-conference performer for the Warriors. Has him slightly behind the sticks now after his good play. 2nd down and 11. Try the inside draw to Deshaun Tears. He's good for a handful. 3rd down is coming. Deshaun Tears, a couple of long runs tonight. Capped it off with touchdown run. 3rd down Rams with just under 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. If you weren't with us in the early stages and you're wondering about the other drives, 7 plays, 51 yards, or 81 yards, I should say, 210. The second of the touchdown drives, and then capped that late one in the half, the quick strike capability. Little toss, going to be caught out in the flat, but there are plenty of gray jerseys there to come up and provide the stop short of the sticks, as it's Deshaun Tears, the recipient of the pass once more. But 4th down is coming, and the kicking unit trotting out, this time for the Rams. Well, you have to credit Erwin for the way this young defense, and again, if there is experience, it's more on the defensive side than the offensive side, Coach Pruitt telling us. But you have to credit the way they have swarmed to the football tonight and made a number of very nice open field tackles here and there.
Yes, I've been very impressed by the Erwin defense tonight against one of the most powerful offenses in the area. Fumble.
Boy, another catch your breath moment for Erwin, and they take a deep one here, those who came out for homecoming wearing the home colors tonight, as that was almost a loose football available to TCR, but it's gathered up just in time, and Aaron Dover and his crew will maintain possession. Well, 3:41 to play in the third as Erwin takes over. Warriors had that 2-play 58-yard drive. Just under a minute, 51 seconds on the scoring drive for Erwin. And then, of course, things closing up at the end of the half before they could score. And it looked like perhaps there was going to be big-time yardage from Michael Petty, but he was forced out of bounds, stepped out at the 33. It's going to be enough to move the chains, but you know what they were thinking about on the home side, a whole lot more.
They were thinking about 6 on that one. He made a really nice move after he caught the ball. Just unfortunately nipped the edge of the sideline.
It is a Hendersonville Family Dental first down nonetheless. And now the young QB Kicks that left leg before he takes the snap, hands it off. Here's Ray. And he's across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Let's redocument it for you. If you missed Milky Ray's exploits in the first half, he had the 52-yard touchdown run. That's the only scoring for the Warriors thus far. He had a really nice open field play on kick coverage for the special teams unit. Oh, and by the way, why not an interception in the first half as well, as he was a factor in all three facets.
He's just had a fantastic night tonight.
Timeout as they spot it, just to keep that football clean. Rain off and on all night tonight. Never rained in the pregame, but started raining heavily right at the start of tonight's contest, and it's been back once or twice. Roberson waiting for it, and there to snuff it out is this Rams D, and they are led to the charge one more time by Boyd. Take a look at him as he's able to get penetration and take down the ball carrier. Just wrestles down Ray on this occasion. And a little crawl to let you know at the end of things. His team leading at 20-7. 6-1. They come into tonight needing a win in this one to make next week's showdown with Reynolds a winner-take-all for the Premier Conference in the Mountains. And they have not looked past this Erwin squad, taking them seriously and having to on this Friday night. Now, flag comes in ahead of the third down play. And it looked as if there was movement on the Warriors side of things. It'll back Erwin up. You know, didn't really underscore it, Tim, but we've talked about it a couple of times off air. Homecoming tonight, and a really nice crowd turning out to support the Warriors.
And congratulations to Kiara Plummer, the homecoming queen.
Recently announced during all the extended halftime festivities. Southpaw QB fires away. Little sit-down route right between the hashes, and it is well done. Talk about execution. That was the punch word tonight for this Erwin squad. They do just that. This catch by Hunter Cromer will move the chains. Another fresh set of downs coming. Well, you think about the future of this young QB. It's snapshots like this that show you his potential.
And Cromer did a good job getting open. He just kind of settled between the divisions and the zone.
And keep it on the ground, right on that Erwin logo, and landing on the feather is Ray. And 2nd down and 9 is coming.
Maybe they'll make it to the tip of the spear.
Well, they were earlier. Oh, wait a minute. That's where they were the tip of the spear on that defensive effort to end up turning Roberson aside. This time looking to cross over into their opponent's territory. And you look up, all of a sudden, just 90 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Two teams that rush the football effectively. Easy to pass you by. This may be picked. Hawking it back there and looking as if he was in position to snatch it away was Kanari Finley, but he couldn't quite bring it in. And boy, it's the second time in recent moments where everybody on the Erwin side says, Yet the drive continues for now.
Engel was very fortunate on that play.
Yes, he was. Engel, as we've recapped much of it for those of you coming and going, getting home from some of your games tonight, coming in and catching this one in mid-action. The young 14-year-old QB zipping that in there. Looked to be caught, but it is incomplete. As he rolled over trying to hang on, Hunter Cromer, who had the key first down catch a moment ago, just could not quite bring this one in. Yeah, Engel, 14 years old, turned 14 in August, a young 14 for football. He was 13, think of it, was the 9th grader when they were going through spring and summer practice. Yet with good size and a great start to his career, has a very high ceiling. He and his receivers unable to hang on to possession here, though. That may be a live ball. Regardless, it is picked up by the return man Mills, and that's going to be a chance for the Erwin defense now. As with 1 minute to play, special teams a difference maker. Well, something for him to smile about here on the Erwin side. As we check in for the Asheville Smiles Cosmetic and Family Dentistry Smile Cam. Always smiling at that age, right? Some of the youngest fans enjoying this great football game in Western North Carolina. We're glad to have you with us. Makes us smile to know you're watching.
And she's
Friday Night
staying
Rivals
dry as well.
She is. Yep. This is beyond the issues earlier with the weather. And well, what are they smiling about on that Erwin sideline right now? This punt. Well done. Good punt. And boy, near disaster on both sides here in the last several moments. And they're going to set things up at the 6-yard line. So you can just imagine the challenge that is being given to that defense. And it's going to be anything but a cakewalk this drive for TC Roberson. But remember, the two key scoring moments for Roberson that came early, Tim, they drove at great distance. And this is certainly going to be one of the tougher field position situations of the night. Let's check in field side with Nelson as we close in on the final minute of the third quarter. Nelson?
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Jason. While I'm standing here alongside some of the beautiful cheerleaders here at Erwin High School, ladies, on behalf of Friday Night Rivals, happy homecoming to each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here with us here tonight. We proudly present y'all a check for $500.
Well, it has been a pleasure to spend the afternoon, now turned evening, at Erwin High School. Warriors always receptive and certainly welcoming to our entire crew. And for those working hard for you in the truck here at Erwin and beyond, we say thanks for joining us and thanks for having us. This is marked by a flag to begin things, but play out the string, why not? As Dinwiddie decided to keep it himself, but at the very start of that, when he worked his way loose, the flag came in at the 8-yard line, and it is coming back.
That was a beautiful play, except for the penalty.
Well, it has something to do with the ultimate result here.
Perhaps.
As it'll be
perhaps
another first down play, this time from greater distance. Well, you see what he can do in open real estate, but this is the second or third time tonight that a long run for Dinwiddie has been negated by the penalty. So he and his crew going to move a little closer to their own goal line, and in the shadow of it, start this drive all over again at the 52nd mark in the third. Dinwiddie among those that, as we discussed, have rolled up 600 or more yards already through the first stretch of games this season. 7 games in, a team poised to have 3 1,000-yard rushers. And having rushed for 3,000 yards as a team through those 7 contests, goes back to work on the ground. And out to the 14-yard line is where he'll be brought down. Second down coming. You know, we talked about it a little bit in the first half, Tim, but it's worth mentioning. Their offense so hard to replicate because of the speed of it. You just don't always have the athletes, when you don't run it regularly, to replicate it in practice. So when you see it for the only time you may see it this year, it's so tough to stop.
And Erwin worked really hard to be able to meet the challenge, I think, tonight.
Defense has done well. They're going to head into the fourth quarter down just a couple scores to the team that has been one of the headliners of this 2023 campaign. Our score heading to the fourth: Roberson 20, Erwin 7. Much more to come as the fourth quarter is on the other side of the break. Ray brings another gear. Jersey of the game with 3 quarters in the books. Number 3 in all 3 phases tonight. Making his mark. There's the interception. You saw the special teams play as well as the touchdown run. And he is, to this point, our Henson's Mulch and More Dirty Jersey of the game recipient. A little bit of everything. You know, he's one of those guys they're going to be talking about. Milky Ray, a couple of schools known for their notable alumni. Martise Jackson, who was a Canadian Football League player from right here at Erwin. Rashad McCants, you'll remember from NBA fame. Then on the other side of things, obviously, TCR, North Carolina Impact in another sport. From who, my friend?
Roy Williams.
Roy Williams, longtime coach at Kansas. And then, of course, North Carolina coming back after being an assistant for Dean Smith. And he coached high school ball here in North Carolina at the start of his career as well in this part of the state. And Darren Holmes, it's baseball season, right? You got to think about him and his impact, a TCR alum as well. So 2 schools that have turned out quite the athletes. And Milky Ray tonight, what you're seeing from Dinwiddie and Jeter and Deshaun Terrace and company, you wonder who adds their name to that list out of the group you're watching on a night like this. They begin the 4th quarter with Dinwiddie taking the keeper. Well, Tim, it is later than you think because of the way Roberson can run the football. You have to understand, if you're Erwin, your opportunities may be few and far between in this 4th quarter. So a stop of some kind here with Roberson back up becomes critical if this young team wants to steal away a marquee win this year.
You're absolutely right, Jason. Erwin had 2 opportunities in the 3rd quarter.
2.
11:36
on the game clock as they will bring the chains out to measure. So official timeout to see if in fact it is a Mills River Family Dental first down for TC Roberson. Roberson taking that 6-1 record for a spin in a key conference game tonight. And he'll take a first down for a spin. That is enough to move the chains. Half the football, the difference in this Mills River Family Dental first down. You know, we talked a couple of times tonight about how big that showdown could be next week. You got the standings sitting right in front of you. Of course, Reynolds 4-0 in the conference. Roberson just the same. If that holds tonight with the results that you're watching here and beyond, that's going to be quite a game next week. And that's what Roberson is playing for in these moments, to set up that marquee showdown. This will help. Big time cut far side up near the 40-yard line is where the ball carrier Creedle, who had the touchdown earlier, will finally be brought down. And here's another look at his extended run.
Creedle did a good job eluding several tacklers on his way around the corner and cutting it back up toward the middle of the field.
But hard to put into words, though, when you look at the big picture storyline, what that game next week would mean if somehow Roberson can close this out. It's a team that, you know, they've been trying to make that incremental progress, and to be in a position to control their own destiny against Reynolds, all the goals would be on the table for this squad.
Absolutely.
Kept in the middle of the field near that Erwin logo, and right now it's as much for Roberson about eating up yards and clock to try and salt away a victory. Anytime you can go on the road, pick up a victory in this conference, you've done something. And they will keep it in the hands of, you know, Jeter. Well, a little difficulty over there for Reno Jeter, as you see him nursing something after going hard to the turf at the end of that play. Certainly hope no lingering effects for Reno Jeter, one of the talented backs in the Roberson stable. Dinwiddie keeps it himself. Well, you think about it, and we didn't really, you know, we talked about it with, let's go back to Reno Jeter right quick and see exactly what happened as he went to the turf on this play. Well, you see, it's really hard to tell, but see the sportsmanship there as they were helping Reno Jeter up, but he still looks to be in some kind of pain over there. Was just going to say, as you see Dinwiddie come out, and he's engineering that offense. What a luxury it is to have your son at the helm of your offensive play calls. And You know, not trying to make too much of it. Coach J.D. Dinwiddie and his son Lex Dinwiddie just kind of take a business-like approach to it. We talked to him before the game and asked, as he on cue keeps it here for the Mills River Family Dental First Down, you know, are you able to separate the home life and the football life? And, you know, something they're very intentional about. But what a thrill it must be for those two as they share that moment right on the heart of your screen, to be in position to build memories on Friday nights that will last a lifetime and be talked about around the family Thanksgiving table and beyond, probably for generations to come.
Oh, you can't put it into words, Jason. You're absolutely right. It's a wonderful thing, and especially when your son is so successful.
When you think about what they have an opportunity to do together as they are in position to perhaps compete for the conference championship and a deep run in the playoffs this year. It really is all coming into form for that father-son combination, and not the only father-son combination we have tonight. As you mentioned in the early stages of this one, a couple of assistant coaches for Erwin who have their sons out there. They're coaching on a night like this at the community, the brotherhood as they call it, the family aspect of it, what it's all about. And the one thing before the night is done, you want to tip your cap to these coaches for both gentlemen, certainly the guy on your screen right there, who are more worried about the overall personal development of these young men as they are their athletic development, making sure they become great citizens, great husbands, great fathers. Those their words about what it is about day in and day out as they develop these young men, and certainly that as admirable as anything that happens between the white lines, Tim.
And I think you find that's the norm through the coaching ranks that we've seen in the teams that we've covered, and probably most of the teams in North and South Carolina.
Yeah, and it is very refreshing when you consider what that means to the future of these young men. Judah Dayton, who's had a good night, filling up your screen, a part of the brotherhood. I mean, even the life lessons of what you're teaching young men by making sure no names are on the back of the jerseys except the one of the entire unit, that they give of themselves and sacrifice for a cause greater than themselves. All those key life lessons. Well, one of the lessons, you know, that they're going to go back to the drawing board on when all is said and done at the end of this one, before they set up for that big showdown next week if it materializes, is the timing on the offensive side of the football. That's another false start that is going to back up Roberson. The type of miscues that a week like next week could really be a headache for he and his staff. And, you know, you saw it in his interview toward the end of the half. Very much aware of it. You know they'll be ready to go when that time comes. There is J.D. Dinwiddie using this triple option offense. A rare look that opponents get to see, to the tune of a big year. And how about this? Has a man open and an acrobatic catch to hang with it for Creedle. And you can move the chains as Creedle comes away with one of the more impressive catches of the night.
Nice rollout there, and then a throwback toward the middle of the field. Creedle did a great job diving and making that catch.
Yeah, really had to hang with it as he was rolling over, find the football again, and he keeps it from touching the ground for the Mills River Family Dental first down. Now here is this crew on the march again, time dipping inside 7 minutes to play. Now or never for the Erwin defense. It certainly feels in many ways when you consider, as Tim told you, they touched the football just twice in the entire third quarter, just that many times in the entire first quarter. They may touch it, but it's going to be after a touchdown from Dinwiddie as he scampers down the sideline. Well, they're going to say he's out of bounds. The official on the far side coming in and putting his foot down at the 4-yard line. So they will say he stepped out at the 4. And it'll simply be a first down and a red zone opportunity for Dinwiddie as he's into the First Bank red zone with this run. You're going to get a great look at it here all the way on the far side of the field. And Dinwiddie was trying to tiptoe the sideline there, and there it is. Boy, got to give plenty of credit. Great job, as we've said all night, by our officiating crew to be right on top of that, but also give plenty of credit to the Erwin defense, not quitting on the play in any form or fashion. So Dinwiddie under center, gives it off one more time. Pyle trying to make some room, and they're going to spot this just shy of the goal line at the 1. And the longer it takes for Roberson to close the deal, the tougher it gets for Erwin. And now there's a hands raised touchdown signal. So after they sort all that out, it is in fact a United Federal Credit Union touchdown for Roberson. The official on the far side coming in looked as if maybe they had stopped him short. You see him stretch the ball out there. Ball comes loose. And before Erwin can fall on the football, the determination is made that the plane was broken by Roberson, and that's what TCR hopes will be the score that sets this one in many ways in stone. Now, you know, there's clarification that is going to be requested by Coach Rodney Pruitt and his staff. And it's that old conversation so often from the coaches of, are you 100% sure? Referee Dennis Setzer and his crew communicating exactly what they saw. Here's one more glance at it. It's going to be coming right at you. And you see the football come loose, but it was after it had been stretched out in an effort to break the plane. The determination touchdown, and it's 26-7. Again, tip our cap to referee Dennis Setzer, his entire crew tonight. They've been working hard for you, not just tonight, but all season long. Make these high school football games possible around Western North Carolina. There's the white hat. And with 6:27 to play after the touchdown, some separation now, Tim, being created by the Rams.
Yeah, 94-yard drive, 11 plays, 6 minutes, 33 seconds.
94 yards to go with the other two lengthy drives of 78 and 81 yards in this game for TCR. That triple option attack on display. What did Coach Dinwiddie tell us? He said, back in the days when I was a defensive coordinator, I had so much trouble stopping this triple option offense. I thought, well, if it gave me so much trouble, it'll give others that much trouble. He's running it to perfection on a night like this. 27-7 is the Roberson lead, mid-fourth period. Here's a look at tonight's drive of the game. It is the one you just witnessed, our Prestige Subaru drive of the game. That 6-minute, 33-second march, 94 yards off 11 plays. There were moments like this as Cradle had a hang with him. Then down the far side, the Phil General Dinwiddie, and here is Caleb Bohannon's touchdown run. They deemed that he just broke the plane to complete the Prestige Subaru drive of the game. Boy, had a 6-minute, 8-second drive earlier, Tim, and now a 6-minute, 33-second drive. That's a formula TCR is going to want to use in the days ahead for not only a conference championship against Reynolds next week, but also a deep run in the playoffs.
And we were talking about that's exactly what they needed tonight in the fourth quarter, is to run out that clock, and they took it with 1 minute left in the third quarter and still had it until the 6:27 mark left in the game. And you're right, Jason. Running that clock out is certainly an asset for the Roberson Rams.
Well, particularly when you can finish those drives with touchdowns the way they have more often than not tonight. Here's Erwin's return. over the 20 to the 23. Well, still trying to make something happen. You know he can. You've seen it all night long. There's Milky Ray up the near side. Boy, Milky Ray really introducing himself to the regional audience tonight. Another one of those players that a bright future ahead. He's got another year just in his junior campaign. He's a participant in all 3 facets in his junior campaign. You would expect he would continue to be that for this Erwin squad moving forward. I'll go back to what a friend of ours told us earlier in the game. Said he's playing out of this world. Well, it lives up to the name when you think about that all moniker team you talked about.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a toss out into Michael Petty's grasp, and now a sense of urgency for Erwin as they go quickly.
And Milky Ray could just use this broadcast tonight as his highlight reel, I think, don't you?
Yeah, clip it up. He'll be fine. Here's a 2nd down and 3 play. Inside 6 minutes remaining. Left-handed quarterback zips that in there. Boy, what a beautiful pass. Nice cut. Still plenty of running room, and coming down the near side all the way to the 15. One more cut, but they are going to say that Hunter Cromer stepped out of bounds at the 13-yard line. What a job on the yards after the catch by Hunter Cromer as he has his team in the First Bank red zone. Look at Cromer go to work.
Just the cutbacks were phenomenal.
No quit in these Erwin Warriors. This is exactly as they were advertised by Coach Rodney Pruitt. He said, you discover one thing about this team right away, and that is they battle, they fight, they claw. Been in the midst of a murderer's row schedule-wise, having to deal with the likes of this team, Asheville, Reynolds in succession, those teams at the top of the conference, and yet this young squad with the 14-year-old quarterback and so many underclassmen just continues to gnaw and claw down to the last play of the game. Too much air underneath this, and it is incomplete. As with 5:23 to play, the clock stops. You know, what's your overall take on the performance we've seen tonight from the young quarterback Engel, Tim?
I think he's shown a lot of maturity. He's made some mistakes, you know, bad throws, but that was probably a smart play because his man was covered in the end zone, threw it away. And I think he's shown maturity beyond his years.
One thing you've been impressed with, his size already in his 9th grade season.
Yes.
And he's going to grow into even more of that as he develops. Southpaw QB will sling this out far side. He's a gunslinger. We learned that about him. And here's the toss to Tristan Ward, and that's a high compliment, you know, for a quarterback in this game. Connects with Ward. The trouble right now for Erwin is the time waning. Will they have enough possessions in this game? We credit the open field tackle of Jomar Doherty as well. Here comes a 3rd down play. Engel. Similar play, trying to tiptoe to the 1st down marker. Who else? Milky Ray. And let's see where they spot him as he was looking to try and set up a 1st and goal. They're going to say this is just short. And the fist is raised for 4th down. So it's going to be 4th and inches. They'll call it 4th and 1 from just inside the 5-yard line. Another chance in close proximity. Engel gives it off. Ball comes loose, and after the fumble, having to turn back to grab it, will keep Erwin short of the line to make, and it's going to be Roberson football at around the 5-yard line. Boy, just when it looked as if Erwin was going to get the 1st down, the ball comes loose, negating the forward progress, and as he comes back to get it, he's short of the line to gain. Just like that, an impressive drive for the Warriors will come to a close. Nothing doing on this drive from a point standpoint. 4:37 to play as Roberson takes back over in command late on the road. Well, tonight, as always, our fans of the game sponsored by Western Carolina University, reminding you to use your advantage. At Western Carolina, a high-quality education has never been more affordable. That's thanks to the NC Promise tuition plan. As a North Carolina resident, $500 in tuition per semester could help toward a degree that prepares you for a thriving future for a lifetime. That's Western Carolina University, proud sponsors of our fans of the game. Now, I know you don't have anything at all to say about Western Carolina University, Tim.
I was just going to say we needed more cowbell.
Okay, there you go. Of course, strong connections to Western Carolina University in the booth for you tonight. We again send our best wishes to our friend and colleague Tom Van Hoy,
yes, we
who
do, Tom.
is recovering and not feeling well tonight. We certainly look forward to having Tom back in the booth. But thank you, partner, for stepping in, one of our dear friends and one of the great reasons that you're able to watch so many of these high school football games across the Carolinas and have done so over the years. Tim Amos stepping in to, you know, you've had every other role on these shows. Why not come in the booth on a night like this? Thank you for pinch hitting for us and stepping in, and it's been a pleasure to journey alongside you tonight.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. I love being around you guys, working with you guys, the entire crew. Such a professional staff from the top down, and it's just fun.
Well, this is one we'll remember. It's been certainly a pure joy. Second down for Roberson. They're trying to put that salted away drive together now, Dinwiddie and company, with just under 4 minutes to play. As you assess Roberson's season, you've been in this area a long, long time, Tim. You've caught a lot of these from the Asheville side of things and beyond. How do you put in perspective the season, at least to this juncture, for this edition of his Roberson squad?
Oh, I think they've had an outstanding season to go 6-1 and play in this conference and be fighting and perhaps winning maybe next week the conference championship. The season is already successful, and they only have greater things to come.
Well, you mentioned next week. What a showdown is shaping up between TC Roberson and AC Reynolds for the conference crown, and certainly the most solid of the footing heading into the playoffs, which it's hard to believe is now just right around the corner as we've worked our way into the middle stages of October. And all that now materializing as they try and put the finishing touches on this one across the final 3 minutes and change. A reminder, next week we will be at Dorman High School in South Carolina. The Gaffney Indians taking a trip across the county line to take on the Dorman Cavaliers. We'll have that for you next week right here on Friday Night Rivals. Gaffney and Dorman, always one of the perennial rivalries there in the upstate of South Carolina as well. We look forward to having you with us next week for Gaffney and Dorman. Here's the first down play. Going to be a handoff from Dinwiddie and taking the pile with him. You know, we call ball carrier after ball carrier after ball carrier tonight. That obviously Creedle again, but there have been so many. And we have so many different ball carriers being successful. You know who you have to give credit to. The offensive line has been stellar again tonight for Roberson.
It doesn't matter who's carrying the ball. They have had some success, and you're absolutely right. The unsung heroes of the game.
Yeah, you give credit to those guys up front who have made such space for this stable of backs tonight. Of course, they protect Dinwiddie regularly. And their play going to be critical in the weeks that move forward beyond this. Timeout as a penalty marker comes down. Clock stops, I should say, rather than timeout. 2:02 is it is the Rams going to be flagged for the infraction. They'll be backed up one more time. You know, the one thing, their job once the play has started on the line has been tremendous. The one area, you know, they're going to want to tighten up moving into next week. Some of the issues on timing with the snaps and the count, and you know, this team just a tweak or two away from really being dangerous going into that game next week.
Yes, you've hit it on the head, Jason. Just a few tweaks and their championship material.
Well, more key yards rolled up, more key seconds going off that game clock. 1:56 and ticking downward here.
Well, we are very confident that if Roberson plays like they've been playing, they can run out the clock.
Yes. Yeah, they're going to limit the times you touch the football. They certainly take care of business here. And if you're not familiar with what Tim's referencing, maybe you're just getting home from your game and finding us, or just worked your way in for the night. A 6-minute 33-second drive on the most recent trip down the field of 94 yards for Roberson. And the bookend drives, the first drive of the night, 6:08, 6 minutes 8 seconds to march 78 yards on that occasion. And it's going to be a pretty good chunk of yardage across the 50 and into Erwin territory, as it's the latest of the carries for P.J. Deschantaires, familiar name from this portion of the state of North Carolina. And he's carrying on the family tradition with runs just like this.
Just a powerful runner, just shaking off tacklers and picking up big yardage on that play.
1:09 to play as they stop the clock briefly to reset the chains. Ball is on the 48-yard line for the Mills River Family Dental first down. You'll want to stick around post game. We will have the Bojangles Trophy presentation to J.D. Dinwiddie, and of course Lex Dinwiddie and company, his son, coming up to the line, getting ready to try to dispose of these final 40 seconds plus now. You'll hear the head coach of TCR give his thoughts concerning tonight, as that should do it. TCR never trailed, as they will come away with a 27-7 victory over the homecoming crew here at Erwin. And as importantly as anything else, the mission of the night accomplished for the Rams of Roberson, as they have now set up that showdown, control their own destiny against one of the perennial powers, Reynolds, next week. And what a game that's going to be for the conference crown. Final seconds have rolled off the game clock. It's official, 27-7, the win for Roberson over Erwin on this night. Teams meet in the middle of the field, shake hands. When we return, we'll have the Bojangles Trophy presentation to wrap a victorious night for Roberson here at Erwin. Well, a 27-7 win for the TC Roberson Rams, who were standing by for the trophy presentation.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Jason. This is the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Carolina Furniture Contest. Well, Coach, first thing is first, congratulations on a great rivalry victory here tonight. You know, oftentimes people watch football, you hear people chanting on the sidelines or watching on TV at home. They always say, run the ball, run the ball. You guys ran the ball quite proficiently here this season. Let's talk about that strategy.
Well, I mean, we that's what we do. I mean, that's our DNA. That's our identity. They gave us some fits early on. We made some adjustments, but I thought we fought really hard. I'm happy with the way we fought. I'm not happy with the way we executed, but you know, we'll get that fixed.
And speaking of get that fixed, of course, with tonight's win, takes y'all to an impressive 7-1 victory. Big time game next week against AC Reynolds. What's the strategy going into next week's game, Coach?
Win.
I like it. I like that. I like that. And Coach, before I let you go, Coach, two questions. One, earlier this afternoon, you had a great conversation with one of my colleagues, Jason Patterson. You said two things. You said, number one, football is the greatest game ever played, and I'm sure your team would agree with that. Is that about right? But the second thing you talked about the level of importance and preparation went throughout the entire week that brought us here to this moment. I'm wondering, Coach, can you shed some light on the kind of preparation that went into both the offense and the defense that brought you here to this moment of victory here tonight?
Well, we prepare like we always do, but I would question our enthusiasm throughout the week of practice, but we prepare the same way for every team, and we want to be the best version of ourselves. And if we feel like if we do that, we can win every ball game.
All right, well, Coach, once again, congratulations on an outstanding victory. Congratulations to your team! Tim, Jason, back to you guys.
It's doubtful he'll have any issues with enthusiasm next week with a conference championship on the line. His team has earned the right to play for it. When you look at this performance overall in this one tonight, Tim, he said it, keep it simple, win the football game, and that they did.
Absolutely, they did everything they needed to do. They didn't do a whole lot more than they needed to do, but when you look at the score 27-7, I guess that was a lot.
Again, a pleasure to have you alongside. Real thrill to sit beside of you on this night. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And we say to all of you at home as well, thank you for joining us. You are the reason we are all about bringing local high school football to you on Friday nights just like this. So important. So many memories for those involved in tonight's game and for our crew working hard for you here in Leicester and beyond. Jason Patterson saying thanks for joining us on this night. Congratulations to TC Roberson. They come away with the win and set up the championship showdown next week. 27-7 the final on this Friday night for the Rams over the Warriors.
It just puts the final pieces on a week of preparation, and I like to go watch our kids play. I tell them all the time, Friday's your show. I'm just out there. I'm going to try to guide you a little bit, but you're the ones out there doing the work. So.
This contest, and not only a